The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
Difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Best FM, keep listening.
Welcome back. I'm free. I was saying I'm free like Lala. Lale is what? Lali was one of the acts that came out in 2022. And I found it significant. I was at graduation ceremony at UWI and the valedictorian. Wonderful young lady. When she finished speaking, that was for the natural sciences and things. She got a standing ovation from the persons present. She was so wonderful as a speaker, and that's how she ended it. So, as graduate, she says, let us let go the bird and go into the region, impacting it for good. But I'm thinking more of the verse of scripture that says when Paul was speaking to the Galatians, do not allow yourselves to be entangled again with the yoke of bondage, but stand firm in the liberty wherein Christ has set you free. So in that way this morning, as we have entered into 2023, let there be a freedom of expression, a freedom of thought, a freedom to become all of what God has intended for you to be. Remember that even before you were born, according to Psalms 139, from verses 12 to 14, he knew that you'd be born, and then he has written down the course of the way that you should walk in your present reality, but walk in that reality in knowledge and intention of who God is and what he has called you to be. So I'm free this morning, like Etana was singing. She wants to be free, but I am free. I don't know what about you this morning, my friend and colleague.
Always free.
You're always free, yes. Me know say you're free as a bird in the sky, my dear.
Free. But I'm going to follow you down the Pauline trek and say that the freedom, your freedom was purchased, blood of Christ. That freedom was so that you could become slave to Christ.
Okay.
And in that slavery is the real freedom that we desire. Because you know what? The quality of freedom, when you begin to probe it, you are always tied to something.
That's true.
What you want is the freedom to choose the thing to which you are beholden. And then in that space, when you occupy it, to enjoy fullness of life.
That's true.
So, although I say always free, it's really because I know my freedom was purchased. So, the things that enslaved me in a very oppressive and punitive way are no longer of any concern to me, but I actually am very, very much in submission to something of an entirely higher order.
Okay.
You remember we've had some conversations about the true meaning of salvation, pulling it away from, just being stuck at the altar, leaving the altar. You've answered the altar call, and you've presented yourself. The next step is not for you to live there.
No,
and we've
sir.
had some conversations, Lowell and myself, as we have worked on different projects involving just activating people and releasing them into their purpose. We've come upon one or two persons who don't want to leave the altar.
No.
You remember that man who was clinging to the horns of the altar?
I said, no, if you leave, you may go dead.
If I leave, I
He
die.
understood that very clearly. But
And he was killed on the altar.
He was killed at the altar.
Because the altar is a place of sacrifice.
My dear.
Blood work takes place on the altar. But that aside,
so
we've
the
come
verse that I
across a
quoted
few
was
persons.
Galatians 5:1. If
Yeah.
persons wanted to understand where I took it from.
Yeah.
Galatians 5. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherein Christ had made you free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Lali, the bird, they got the bird this morning.
Yeah, but,
And
but
in
I'm
liberty.
saying that is 50% of the way.
You'll be free to become
Yeah, because
slave.
some
Yeah.
people think that this freedom mean I can do and act as I please because
Some
I've
people
been
talk about the
I'm
free
in the
grace.
liberty.
Yeah, man.
But I think we need to close the
To
loop by
balance it up.
emphasizing that the same Paul says
Mm.
you're free so you can become a slave to Christ.
Amen.
And he says he's a slave to Christ.
Amen. But I
It's
think you
always
never did like the slavery word.
huh?
I don't. I thought
I embrace it when it is to the right master.
I like that.
And no, I mean, that is the point that I would emphasize as you reach for that. Many of us need to be fully educated on what it means to stand in the liberty that Christ give you. It don't mean that you can
Freedom
take
to
the liberty
do
from him and then do as you
to be,
please.
yeah. And some people have said that that there was
Hyper grace.
yes, there's a school of thought that Paul had to come against. That people say we're free because you can't do anything you want because the body don't really mean anything. It's spirit free, so you can't do anything.
And because there's forgiveness.
Yes, and it was a real abuse of that in terms of what we did.
I went there because as we are in this first period of the year, and I'm minded to quote something I read yesterday, really out of my own church community. If you lose the first 3 hours of the day, you lose the whole day.
That's what M said.
If you lose the first 3 days of the week, you lose the whole week.
Is it
If
three
you lose
concept?
the first, yes,
It's the three concept.
yeah, but it's also that it is intended to focus you, because if you lose the first 3 months of the year, you've lost the year.
That is so true. That is so true.
The idea is that the time that is necessary to focus your thoughts, your energy, plan, set a course for what you're gonna do, how you're gonna spend your time.
Right now.
If you miss doing that, then it is next year for you, brother.
I'm so aware of that.
Or tomorrow, or next week, or whatever. So as we are in this first week of the new year, let's focus our energies on planning, being intentional about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, who we need to be amongst us. You won't get all of it, but you start with the 50-foot drop and work your way from there, because you will see the benefits of it as time marches on. A number of persons say, oh, new year, it's just a different date. My circumstances are the same. Many things remain in the same condition. But you're not the same. And you are what makes a difference in your own circumstances. Every day is an opportunity for you to reposition yourself so that you can look at old things with new eyes. And we, of course, we recommend the eyes of Christ. We've been talking about being a slave to Christ. So you have the opportunity every day to recapture lost territory by just how you look at it, the strategy you take, the plans you make, even though, yes, we know it is really more of the same. You can change your position and your perspective and make a difference.
That concept is so very applicable to every single person that is listening to us this morning, whether they are online, whether they are in their cars, getting ready, on the way to work, on the bus listening, or downtown, having downtown. The market week really begins today. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you were on the road from 4:35, you would have seen the market trucks coming in from St. Mary side, Portland, heading down to Carnation Market. Really need to, as you say, focus on planning. What is behind you, and what is ahead of you is what you begin to do now. And so you make decisions today that will affect your tomorrows. But it's in kind of ironic that tomorrow is never promised to anybody, but you plan today and do today what you're going to do tomorrow, and you unfold. Because I quoted it last night, Jeremiah 29:11, with the sure knowledge that God has declared. He knows the plans that He has for you as an individual, um, as a community, in the workplace, as a nation. Plans to give to each one of us who trust in Him a hope and a future, plan for success and not for destruction, because it is always His will for us as His children to give to us the kingdom. It was so in the beginning, when He created us and He gave us dominion and responsibility to rule over the earth, and it continues to this day. So we just have to line up with what God is doing and saying in His creation, because He has empowered us to rule over it. On the front page today, we notice that Dr. No, it was
Professor.
Dr.
Professor.
Richard, but when he started, but he's now Professor Richard Bernal died suddenly yesterday.
It sound like the police, sudden death.
Sudden death is a big thing now, because people collapsing. I think the big thing that is happening is what happened on the FNL when Dinal just somebody took
my brother. NFL.
NFL. What did I say? NBA?
No, FNL.
Oh.
Yeah, look at the bird, so there's no
NFL,
guaranteeing
when
what
he
comes out of this
died.
bird's beak.
Yeah. and that has
He died?
I don't think so. It's still
No,
in critical
he was in
condition.
critical condition.
Yeah.
In hospital, a 24-year-old young man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what a young man. I mean, I know you were talking about Richard Bernal, but
when you read the story,
this young man at 24 years of age he started a foundation to do giftings to children, and because of his health situation, those who love and support him just began pouring into his foundation. He had an ask of 2,500 for December, and the foundation is now at $5 million.
amen.
People just giving to support what he did, and I say, wow, in all of this, a beautiful testimony is coming out of it. And
I wondered about that. Some of the times you see things happen, and that I was pondering last night. I said, I saw that. You see other things that are happening. I say,
wow,
Father,
you have to have the eyes to see it.
Father,
Yeah.
explain. Give me an insight into as you are doing a panoramic span of what's happening in your work. Just give me a little bit of insight in terms of what is the story behind the story that you see.
And he said, Percy, I'm doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it?
Yeah, me want to perceive more. You don't understand me greedy for that. Yeah, Percy want to perceive more.
Percy need to just look.
So
Look. But it's beautiful what you can see happening. And listen, it is a law of nature. We see it around us all the time. The death of a thing nourishes and replenishes the soil for the birth of another. And you see it and we have to have the eyes to look in the graveyard of our dreams and disappointments and the mess that we see around some of the things we attend. Look for the budding growth. Look for the new thing that God is doing in your crazy, chaotic, confused circumstances, because he's always doing a new thing. When they spoke about this young man's collapse on the field, you could immediately see two things happening. The NFL immediately began to look at their procedures for treating players. The player, that's their stock. That's the lifeblood of what they do. And a lot of them are young black men. And we have seen time and again, they had the concussion issues. What happens with players who are injured? Even the players themselves don't want to leave the field. Love of the game, don't want to break contract, don't want to be sidelined. Whatever it is that motivates them to be sacrificial in their attention to the game, they need better care and concern from those who are in the system. So when this young man collapsed, the first rush was just to look back at the welfare issues surrounding players, what medical assistance is on the sideline, who is exercising their authority to overrule decisions to keep players on the field. And it may not be that his collapse had anything to do with mistreatment of players, but we saw it immediately rushing to
To
and
ensure that the
issued
procedures and the
absolutely
protocols
for
are in
their
place.
welfare. And over time, we've seen where these professional sporting associations, which seem to be like meat shops for our young black men, for the most part, we see them being pushed into exercising more care and concern for the welfare of their athletes. The second thing you saw was the outpouring of love from the community, who he's only 24 years old, but he seemed to have touched so many lives.
His
And
coach spoke highly of him. His
yes,
coach, I saw that because I
his
follow
former coach
Yard
as
Bark. I follow it. He was saying, was speaking
yeah,
highly of him.
the individual he was.
Yeah, in terms of
Yeah,
affecting.
we're going back to Richard Bernal, Mr. Producer.
Yes, we're going back.
And then we also saw and how that young man was raised in the middle of America and all the things you can say about America. He's very connected to family. He chose to stay in his hometown or home state, whatever, to play. He obviously had opportunities to play elsewhere. He didn't take a big contract. He stayed where he had roots in the community, and even at an early stage, he had already begun to pour back into the community, and people matched his efforts with a great deal of love and generosity. A man trying to raise $2,500, and the pot is now at $5 million.
You only want to raise 2005?
2005. Yeah.
You know, but you know one of
And
the
it's at $5 million to do gifts to kids.
yeah, you know one of the significant things that happened also, even with the American thing, when he went down, the game stopped. The game was suspended, and guess what happened?
Yeah, they're not returning to it.
They prayed.
Oh yes,
Everybody,
I forgot that. All those
everybody
young men in a huddle,
just
the
praying.
whole field praying.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm gonna say something about black people now. You saw when you see them praying, I see the grandmothers and the mothers. Raise them to know and acknowledge that this is a moment for God to intervene.
Yeah.
I pray that He does. He already has, but that they are praying for his survival is sure.
Yeah.
And I hope that he survives. Many people have greater impact in death than in life.
You know that. That just hit me because that was on national television. And then this guy was one of the commentators, a former
professional player.
Yeah, he just stopped and just prayed.
They prayed because a God moment.
He just prayed and for the young man there, and them says, okay, all right, so this is what is happening. And
they said it on air that they're praying. So the God that them take out of the classroom, out of all the important places, was this turn to God was on full display. And every time they tell the story of the man's collapse, they show you the players rushing into a huddle on their knees, praying for his survival. It was beautiful. It really was. And I said some people have greater impact in death than in life. Speaking, of course, that this young man, whichever way it goes, God is at work in the circumstances, and lives have already been changed by what has happened with him. But we were talking about Professor Richard Bernal. You knew him as Dr. Bernal. You know, I don't really remember him as Dr. Bernal. I know him as Ambassador Bernal.
Yes, but he was Ambassador Dr. Bernal, and then he became a professor.
Yeah.
But he was on campus when you were there.
Doing what?
As a teacher.
He was lecturing then?
Yeah, lecturing.
My first awareness of him was as ambassador because I remember his son going through that whole terrible.
Yes, remember that. Yes. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I think I need to add my voice here.
Who that?
Because
it's a voice crying in the wilderness.
I cannot be silent. No, I can't.
Oh my Lord.
Ambassador Bernal.
Yeah,
played squash with him at the Ligony Club.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. He's he was such a wonderful person. A decent man.
Yeah, that was man. I hear that being said of him.
Oh yes. Decent man.
Personally.
I mean, and I'd run into him from time to time at the supermarket and so on.
Yeah.
He never forgets a person, he never forgets a face, and he's always respectful. Very decent man, humble. You know,
Yes,
I
yeah,
mean, I
very
tell you,
thoughtful.
yes,
I mean,
yes,
sometimes I remember when our law firm was dealing with his son's issue. If you had to, if you had to produce a verdict on the son based on the father,
It may
yes.
not be.
innocent all the way.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that man, he and his wife were just, yeah, the
Yeah.
salt of the earth. Well, at 72 years of age, and as persons are reporting, in the pink of health, laughing and talking and planning on Wednesday afternoon at work. He was at work up to 3 p.m. on Wednesday, and then took a walk. I tell you, those who are averse to exercise are saying, see that, me tell you.
I hope they don't say that at
Of
all.
course they're saying it. We sometimes
Well,
there is, yeah, because he was very careful of his health. As I always said, he played squash. I do remember
yes,
him now, as you said, at the
yes.
club with squash. And yeah, he was working with the PJ Patterson Institute for Africa Caribbean Advocacy at UWI. um, Collapsed while walking, and this morning we are acknowledging his great contribution, described as a towering public servant,
Was he
but
truly
really
was?
a man of extreme gentility and professionalism. What is it the Prime Minister has said here? Ambassador Bernal gave committed service to his beloved country, Jamaica, and to elevating our status and relations with bilateral and hemispheric partners.
And there was a time they tried to drag him into
He
the political hurly-burly, and he stood above the fray. I remember that.
he represented the people of Jamaica
Jamaica,
with
yes.
honor, dignity,
Dignity
and
and
professionalism,
yeah.
said the Prime Minister.
And yeah, but I remember with all of what was happening. Yeah. Because remember, he was once Jamaica's ambassador to the US.
Yes.
Yes.
So let us note something here. The Gleaner headline says Bernal hailed as a towering public servant. I'm going to note a shift in the undercurrents of our politics. Opposition leader Mark Golding also expressed shock at Bernal's passing. A towering public servant. He was both a consummate diplomat and an important advisor to the government of Jamaica over many years, Golding noted.
He added that Bernal excelled to the highest
What is the
international
shift that I just picked up?
shift.
Yes.
Public servant to all the people of Jamaica over many years.
No, the Gleaner has quoted Mark Golding in
Oh.
their headline.
Oh, I said.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
There's a shift. That is a shift.
Mm.
And you pick it up, right?
Mm.
What I'm saying.
Towering public servant.
No, not that.
No,
There's a shift.
Excuse me, know what I'm saying to you. Towering public servant is it. There's a holy. The fact that is quoted,
Mm-hmm.
and not what other person is quoted, speaks volumes. You know that.
Yes, that's the shift I'm telling
You know
you.
that's what the volumes.
I was worried about it for a while. All this freedom with the flying away.
You know what? If I was here, I was getting ready to fly.
Yes.
No, I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Towering.
All right. So
public,
of
towering.
course, we express condolences to his family and
His
to
wife. You
those
remember his wife's name?
Yeah, man. I remember Margaret. Miss Margaret.
Margaret.
And I remember the boys.
Okay.
His sons, who are all grown men now, and it seems like 72 is no age to be dying. But
No, it's a young age these days, you know.
Yeah.
Even
Well.
as I march towards, and I have to make mention of this, you know.
Mhm. Hey, when is your mom's birthday?
My mom's birthday is next week, Monday.
Oh, okay.
But something it seems that for us,
Mhm.
my wedding anniversary is on Sunday.
Yeah.
So our wedding was a birthday present for my mom.
She was exceptionally joyful that someone was marrying you.
You know the thing.
When you say it was a birthday present, so I could only assume that
Yes.
your mother was as happy as the bride.
You know, when you reflect on it, 29 years is a
29 years.
It's a long time.
Year number 29 is what in the pantheon of wedding gifts, anniversary gifts? What is that? Paper, stone,
I don't
rice?
even know.
I'll find out.
Well, tell me what it is.
Why is Lowell laughing?
That would laugh. But
I'm tempted when he says 29 years is a long time.
long time for more to put up with
Then
me, right? You know that?
I'm wondering what his wife is saying.
It's interesting that
But she's a strong woman.
my brother.
Not just beautiful, but she's strong.
Yes.
Yes.
And she chose well. So,
Yes.
and I'm sure you're the gift that keeps on giving.
My dear, my sister. Oh, we give God thanks.
I will not disturb that Percy. I'll leave that one alone. In cricket.
Yes, leave alone.
Yeah, you're gone.
You won't be caught in the slips this year, bro. No. I'll leave that alone. You're not making that one they pass you.
Yes, man.
Yeah, let's hail up our brethren straight up who is online and has just shared something here. I've been commenting to my friends that people just seem to be dying. People who you did not hear of as being ill or having health issues.
Yeah.
So it is a surprise too.
It's a surprise, yeah. So as we
All
come
right,
up to 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock on Thursday morning, and we're in the studio.
Yeah.
The studio cool.
The studio nice and cool. It's what
Cool.
I dropped for it.
Cool.
Best FM 100.5 on your dial. Keep listening.
The following is an excerpt of Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness's speech at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly.
Mr. President, several countries in Latin America and the Caribbean are facing an epidemic of crime and violence. Since the pandemic and the disruption in education, challenges with mental health are being increasingly expressed in violent ways. The propensity to resolve conflict or cope with social and mental stresses through violence requires a public health response. And Jamaica has not only engaged in global initiatives such as the Partnership to End Violence Against Children, but we have recently empaneled a National Commission on the Prevention of Violence to advise the government on building out an articulated public health and social service response. However, the situation is exponentially complicated and exacerbated by the influx of illegal and unregistered small arms into our country, from organized transnational criminal enterprises to street-level gangs to the misguided youth in the inner city. The availability of guns is driving an ever-increasing homicide rate. In the same way that a war on drugs is being prosecuted, in which we have been faithful partners in policing what comes through our waters or leaves our shores, there now must be a war on guns. Jamaica does not manufacture guns, but our population suffers from the effects of widely available guns. The countries that manufacture weapons that are available to the public must implement stronger measures to ensure that those weapons do not end up on the streets and in the hands of people for whom they were not intended. In the same way that there is a concern about illegal drugs on the streets of the rich countries, there must be concern about guns on the streets of developing countries like Jamaica.
The proceeding was an excerpt of Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness's speech at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly.
Keisha, you hear about the little girl who get shot in the community last week?
What do you mean?
I mean, you say things are going to get even crazy, I know, because them boy they smuggling some new gun the other day.
If me could have said something without bad man hear about my name, I would have talked with me know a long time, you know. Because for them foolishness always come back for hurt the innocent people in the community.
But you know, say, them have one program where you can actually give information to the police secretly, you know. Customs join up with Crime Stop and start one campaign named Tell Us. So people can give tips and nobody nothing know say them. Them will give out money if the reward lead to an arrest or them can find the gun them.
Boy, honestly, me kind of afraid, you know. But things can't continue, so. Me ready to tell them when me know.
You're right. We have to put a stop to it.
The Jamaica Customs Agency wants you to tell us what you know. Call Crime Stop at 311 to share information about illegal guns and other contraband coming through our borders. The Jamaica Customs Agency. Country above sell.
It's a ticket. Hush, child. Me no want them see we. But, mommy, is the census takers? Me not tell them my business. But, mommy, they need information about all the households to help make decisions about where to put things like clinics, stores, and new roads. So, come, mommy. You count, me count, all our count.
Census Day is September 12th. Look out for the national census takers in your community and let them know you count.
This is my COVID-19 story. Me, my baby mother Shelly, and my son Rory. The whole household already catch it. Sad to say, Shelly never make it. We never take the vaccine, because we never trust it. But right now, brethren, I really regret it. Now Rory motherless, and me depressed.
Protect yourself and the people you love. Mask up, sanitize, get vaccinated. Let's stop the spread. A message from the Jamaica Red Cross in partnership with the Coca-Cola Foundation and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Seniors, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is advising that the November 2022 payment under the Social Pension Program is now available for collection. Check your text messages to confirm your payment arrangements. For further information, call 876-922-8007. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, at 2 months now, my transmission mash up, you know, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Try and call him, cause trust me.
What a relief.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Yes, what's coming to that 100 of them? In the mix with Nessa and DJ Richie. The mix comes on every Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join us as we entertain you, inform you, and educate you on everything that will keep you in the mix on Bex 100 of them. Come on, have vibes.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning, welcome.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. We had fun. But even as we continue to reflect on the headlines today, and we noted the passing of Professor Richard Bernal, who was hailed as a towering public servant. Next to that article is one that I think all of Jamaicans should really be interested in, because I remember in October we went to the hollowed halls of the Parliament of Jamaica, and we made a presentation on behalf of the Morning Connection and the many listeners who had expressed opinions about the Integrity Commission. And the headline is Monroe urges leaders to sign code proposed by Integrity Commission. And one of the proposals that we had spoken when we had gone was that the Integrity Commission, according to Section 6(1)(g), has the one of the functions is to prepare codes of conduct and other advisory material relating to corruption. So I think based on that, the Integrity Commission had presented to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Andrew Holness, and leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, on November 15th, a document for them to sign. To date, it has not been done. But what is interesting is that in that document, there are 7 principles. I see number 7 coming to fore, my friend. 7 principles as to what it is all about. So I invite you to, as my learned friend, to speak to those 7 principles.
A little bit more of the background might be useful because these are not new ideas. We are taking a little bit of credit for being forceful in our own representation that the Integrity Commission itself had powers which it was not using because that section of the act which you quoted has been around for a while. They have always had the power, the function to prepare codes of conduct and impose them on the departments and agencies of government which fall under their remit, but they have not used it, we said, to full effect. And that was, of course, one of the things that our listeners were concerned that we were not seeing the level of activism that was required on this area of integrity. Monroe, Professor Monroe, in his, he's been quoted in today's paper. He's the one who's been quoted. No one has quoted us. We are the ones.
We don't have no problem.
We are the ones who
I have no problem with that, my
keep
sister.
highlighting that we brought the listeners' concerns to the house, to the subcommittee. Professor Monroe pointed out that these 7 principles that our leaders are being asked to publicly endorse are identical to those in Jamaica's Code of Conduct for Ministers. And that Code of Conduct was actually promulgated, mean put in law, on April 25th, 2002 in Ministry Paper number 19 under the signature of the then Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. So can you understand they make their own rules and ignore them? Over 20 years
Integrity.
later, one who says,
Question of integrity. What you
what you
say
say is
is
what
what
you
you do.
I was looking back at some of my notes that that I used when we were at that meeting, saying that simply put, integrity to the ordinary man is doing what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's not a case of
Yeah. What
do
does
what
the
I say.
yeah?
But
What does the public demand of its leaders?
Mhm,
Integrity.
mhm.
To the ordinary man, this means that we do what we say without making exceptions based on position or rank. It means the fair administration of public goods and services in all areas of life. It means timely and honest response to matters of public interest. It means that the entire government moves as one body applying the same principles. The Integrity Commission is seen as the conscience of the government, maintaining a balance between the interests of the people, the needs of government, and constraining the exercise of power by public officers. And I, for one, am very pleased that the Integrity Commission took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, they would say. And by November, because we were there somewhere
October.
around the 10th or the 12th, I think, of October. And by the 15th of November, I
Yes.
think they're
Mhm.
quoted, on November 15, 2022, the Commission sent a code of conduct to both leaders for signing, but to date, per Mr. Christie, if either of them signed it, the Commission is not aware. And the 7 principles that you adverted to, the first one is selflessness. And this is urging officers of public office to act solely in terms of the public interest. They should not act in order to gain financial or other material benefits for themselves, their family, or friends. That's a hard one. And you could see why they've probably paused because so many things are already in play which involve benefits going to family and friends. Especially we see with government, Mr. Hutchinson has been named in some interesting quarters, and you don't see the remedial work being done to unhook. And there's a way, in law, there is a way to restore, to dial back these activities. Some people might say, oh, but it gone already. No, there are
Can.
ways. There are ways.
There are ways in laws
Yeah.
and ways that you can do administratively.
Absolutely, to address it and to repent of that behavior. Another principle states that the holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or other obligation to individuals or organizations that might seek to encourage improper behavior in the performance of their official duties. Now, I can see, because I think Mark Golding had come out saying that some of the language, and this is not forensic language, meaning when you are imposing a code of conduct, you have to select words that have easy meaning, that are easy to interpret by the person who is bound by it. If I sign saying, I will not put myself in any position where I'm beholden to somebody who might encourage me to break my trust with government, financially or otherwise. Now I have to look. Do I have loans? Have I borrowed money? For example, if a commercial bank is a donor to my party, or or some senior person sits on a committee, I've appointed them to a board, and I have a car loan or a mortgage, or do you understand? These are financial obligations which those persons who are sitting in the positions in which I place them, if I remove them, they might call my loan. So if you have those kinds of relationships already in existence and you sign a code like this, is there a cutoff time? Is it saying after this point I can't do it? Or do I now need to make changes to the arrangements that are already on the ground? I think any conscientious person looking at the code would have those questions. So it may be difficult to sign without having dialogue with the Integrity Commission on how existing arrangements are going
Make
to
it
be
open so
addressed
that people know.
once you have signed the code. But I think the commission has everybody's declaration of assets or whatever, the statutory declaration. So the commission could in a proactive way look at what they see in what people have declared and give guidelines
or give guidance.
So
Because
and this is what I say to them now, free of cost. You've put the code in place. You know what you were thinking when you chose certain language and emphasized certain things. Give the context and the guidelines to the people that you want to sign the code so they don't sign and are immediately in breach.
but you know,
Yes.
as you look at that, you reflect on just what you said. I'm saying, okay, people who give themselves to public office are citizens like anybody else.
Yes.
And so if for instance I'm saying, okay, I'm going to run as an MP, then if me have a loan at the bank for one car,
yes,
because you know it like everybody else, MP salary and you have all their living expenses are there. It says, okay, this is there. That wouldn't be, I think, in something that makes you behave improper. You have a loan at the bank and you in
yes, so then the guidelines would say that these are the exceptions.
Yes, you know, so
and then it would also mean that if this is where you do your borrowing and your financing of private business or whatever it is, then there has to be some system to keep you out of play when the interest
Decisions.
of those institutions come up for business. But I mean, you see there's so many things going on that could amount to a breach of just that one.
Yeah, and I think
principle.
that's the one, because you like
A
it's
third principle.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
and just people just kind of giving further clarity, because the truth is, what I think they're pointing to is, you in the political hustings, you don't and the politicians have a way of circumventing the declaration thing. So somebody says, I'll support you, all right, me deal with the t-shirt then. So they pay for the t-shirt, them deliver the t-shirt them. But when the election finish, you know, whatever amount
there's a price.
there's a price. So that's what I think that is about, the improper.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what it
in
is.
countries where this principle is given maximum effect, we have seen persons prosecuted for breach because they accepted tickets to a game,
Yeah, we see that.
dinner
Yeah.
invitations,
Yeah.
a flight on a private plane to
A
some
jet,
place.
right, you know? So.
There are many ways that this can, and I tell you, the moment they sign, they're in breach, and they know this. So clarity is needed, and you know, in our rightful place, we say, when we call people to repentance and they are falling in line, we cannot be punitive in our treatment of them, because how are you going to get sinners to conform if you go and execute them when they come forward with their confession?
I like where you
Right.
put it. Instant execution.
Yes.
Shut at the fire, put in front of a firing
Yeah,
squad.
it's a death sentence, and no man will lightly walk into that. So
No, yeah.
I believe that principle would create some problems. So we move from 23 to 26. Now I'm hot. All right. Can we
You know
adjust
you're
the
hot
temperature,
always. You
please?
know that you're always hot.
Yeah, but you know, I'm around here for the new AC.
Yeah, I know.
Can we adjust the temperature,
Sure,
please?
sure,
26 is even warmer than outside.
Yeah.
The third principle highlighted by the commission is honesty.
It's the best policy.
Holders of public office have a duty to declare any private interests relating to their public duties and to take steps to resolve any conflicts arising in a way that protects the public interest. It proposed. No problem with that. And that works in tandem with the principle that I'm sure is giving them conniptions at the moment. Because if you're honest about your dealings, you know exactly what they are, then you would have to immediately take steps to unwind some positions that would put you in breach. The other principles are objectivity, accountability, openness, and leadership. I don't remember what they said about leadership. It's not repeated here. However, we endorse the action that has been taken by the Integrity Commission. We know that our listeners who watch the issues pertaining to corruption closely would see this as a positive step, a step in the right direction, And they must be looking on with concern that the two leaders have not embraced it, are not talking it up, are not addressing it in some public space that shows their commitment
Because
to give the Jamaican people whom they serve this level of service.
so so it is pose against each other. It is juxtapose. I was juxtapose.
You really said that word on
Juka,
here.
we know the right word. That's why,
Yes,
yes,
I know.
yeah. In
Well,
terms of
many
it,
people probably never had an occasion to use the word juxtapose.
yes, but it is. So you have this and you have this, and I think it is a good
Oh,
side by side.
you know, I picked that up too because on the front page of today's edition of the Gleaner, they have handled the Integrity Commission code right beside Mr. Bernal, and it is suggesting that this level of service is a dying. The towering public servant is a dying breed.
It's a dying breed, and what I find interesting. Let's look at just why these guys are great. You have this gentleman dying.
Mm-hmm.
You have the article about the Integrity Commission. Then you have the photo of the day.
Yes.
People walking into the sunset away from walking away. It says he's walked away from the scene, but but can we walk into the sunset with the new beginning that is happening?
You know, Pastor Percy, I had never given you credit for having such poetic sensitivity. I look at the picture and I see the very well developed rear of two women striding towards. Is the sunset? Well, the vehicle, I don't know if it's morning, evening. It says they're taking an evening jog along the Palisades Mirror. And I said, okay, where these Jamaican men love to take pictures of women walking away. That's what and Pastor has positioned the photo in the narrative of Jamaicans moving into the sunset of certain things. Bernal having died, that is a sunset moment. How do you put the sunset moment into the code?
No, to say
Read that one into it for me.
We're walking away from these leaders not signing in. So we said that has come to the sun. We're calling for greater integrity in public life.
Okay.
So the sun is setting on lack of integrity in public life to what is emerging.
All right,
into
so
the new thing.
that's why in the world of art,
Yes.
every position is a valid position.
Yes.
Because each person can interpret it within their own, you know, hopes and aspiration. I compliment you on putting that narrative together.
And then on top of that now, eyes on Steertown in terms of the corruption that is alleged to have happened in terms of the cheating in the CXE.
Yeah, but hear this now.
And people are
Bringing
resigning.
Steertown into it really challenges your interpretation because all that we're seeing is the death of the good and the rapid rise of the bad. I mean, a principal leading his students into error by
and teachers
facilitating
too. For teachers, yeah.
Principal and teachers leading students into error by cheating. Well, actually, the children may not even know they were cheating.
Yeah.
It is alleged that the student, the teachers, and the principal had access to the actual exam questions
before,
made it available to the students as in preparation, I guess, in order to produce a more glowing result for the school. Anyway, we can say law and order is having a good moment because information having come forward about it, it is now being investigated, and the principal it's a board expected to send principal on leave. So maybe it is a little bit of what you call it, dog whistling, trying to force a position to be taken ahead of it. Well, it said the leave was to take effect on January 1, which is in the past. However, with the recent resignation of board chairman, that decision on whether to force the teachers to go on leave hangs in the balance. You know, what's disturbing about it is that we are obviously being challenged in how we investigate matters, how we treat with persons while they're under investigation. And that challenge, I make no judgment on it, that challenge is a snapshot of the lack or the presence of a functioning moral compass.
That's what it speaks to.
Because most of us, if asked, each of us could take a position and say, if something goes wrong in my organization that warrants inquiry, I would do this, that. I think everybody could say, this is how I would deal with it. What's happening with us, obviously, is that the position taken by the many don't match up.
They're not matching up and not coming together.
Which tells you
something
that
wrong.
we don't have a consensus on issues of morality or fair
Right or
treatment
wrong.
or just treatment. So, and then it immediately says Jamaicans need to have more conversations in a communal setting on what we want to see in terms of the treatment of one another.
Mhm. And when we come back, I want to
So
explore
more
that further.
talking.
I want to explore that a bit
Yes,
more
it is
this morning.
7:30 and we got the signal, so we'll take a quick break.
My wife said,
All right, me not coming back.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Lady Lee, the Queen of the South, and I'm inviting you all to trailblaze with me on the best of the best radio station, the Best 100 FM, Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. You can't afford to miss it on your airwaves. Yes, Trailblaze with Lady Lee right here, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on the best of the best, Best 100 FM. Mwah.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us on 926-3866. We are something special on the road.
Seniors, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is advising that the November 2022 payment under the Social Pension Program is now available for collection. Check your text messages to confirm your payment arrangements. For further information, call 876-922-8007. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Welcome back. When we went on our 7:30 break, Minette was on
Feel like a troublemaker.
no, not a troublemaker. You made a point, and I want us to explore it a little bit more in terms of the whole thing, in terms of corruption, a consensus position on corruption. But you were saying some interesting things during the break, and I wanted to
You want me to share
I
it?
wanted to
Say
share
it
it
on air.
Yes, what
All
you
right.
were saying.
As I looked at the situation with Stairtown, and I see the headline saying board expected to send, and then to send the principal on leave. And then you see where the leave, clearly, this is some discussion that has taken place and the media has got wind of it. The leave should have taken effect on January 1, and today is January 5th, and they are not on leave. I said to Pastor Percy, it is clear to me that persons who are addressing the situation are not at one on how the matter should be treated. And that is what's of concern to me. Not that they took a course and it is the wrong course, but that there's no unity. When you can't find unity on matters relating to ethics and morality, it means that the moral compass is not functioning effectively. When the moral compass is working effectively, anybody who deal with a compass know that once you're in position, the compass, a working compass, finds the cardinal points and selects a position based on the magnetic pull from the different poles. That this is just science and it works. If the compass is not working, you see the needle just going crazy, can't find anything. And so it cannot settle on a direction to which all of us could lock in.
So you're saying,
And
is that a general
and
thing
yes,
that can be
it.
extrapolated to the society at large? We have lost our moral compass.
Of course, because the people in St. Anne, God bless them, that's my parish, they're Jamaicans. That's a snapshot of our overall society. I said to you, if a thing is continuing, we're all agreed, we all have an issue with it.
With corruption?
But it is continuing. Corruption is continuing. Crime and violence, it is continuing at high levels. But everybody have an issue with it. So who's continuing
it? Different. It's continuing by itself. It's just taking on a life by itself. Because and that is an issue that I continue to say, that crime and violence comes out of people.
It is of us.
Yeah.
I even say people. It come out of
me and you. Yes.
It comes out of us. And if we all have some different, none of us think that it is the ideal, it is the best thing. Even amongst thieves, if a thief don't take more share than he should, or whatever, you see a lot of the reprisal killings, reprisal killings, because they name reprisal killings, are because man break trust with the other one in a situation where it's criminality that is the subject matter.
And so
yeah,
so I extort
$10,000 from Lowell. I am to report it to you. Me bring 8,000 to you, and
so to the 2,000.
And try tell you send 2,000 was expensive.
We find it funny.
Then you have problems.
And then you have problems.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at even the other day what was being reported. An injured man. They had obviously been on some.
You mean activity. Yesterday? You mean with the cronies?
And the cronies are ditching the injured man and try to throw him out on the road.
And it caused for everybody to be caught.
Where is the trust?
Honor among thieves.
Even among themselves. Though there is the adage, there is honor amongst thieves. Honor is expected to be at the table in every human endeavor. Yet even there, amongst those involved in criminality, you have differing views.
That's what you need to do.
All right, so that's the point I was making, and it's something that I wanted to pull Pastor Percy out on it as well. You can't know what direction is the best direction until people have chosen. And if persons are choosing all over the place so that no clear choice can emerge, then the situation will continue unchecked. So in terms of if because we operate in a society, if this was just your house, you set the rule in your house, everybody knows that when it comes to, let's say, in my house, the person who cooks does not wash the dishes unless they choose to, at some exceptional circumstance. That's just one of the rules of the house.
If I come to your house and cook, that mean I don't wash dishes?
No, you don't, because it is unreasonable. Lowell made the rule. I heard him sharing it with Daniel. Mommy has cooked, so you wash dishes.
Okay.
And you see Daddy, sometimes Daddy will wash dishes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
No.
Get on the microphone and
in my
Washes everything.
Get on the,
in
get,
my
Try
house.
get it right.
Oh, you mean dishes and pots?
Try get it
What,
right.
what?
I'm getting domestic here, but that's not the rule.
I wasn't sure what the objection was.
But it's so
As I
much.
said, but that's a rule in our house. In our house, if you when you're a guest, you don't wash dishes. That's another rule. Until you're a guest 2, 3, 4 times,
So that means must come
do not
here.
go to the sink and try to wash your or try to put away things. Also, no.
Okay.
When you're a guest in the house, you are treated, you are served, you are
You're a
an
guest
honored
in the
guest.
house. You're a
Yes.
guest in the house.
So those who think that it is a sign of helpfulness and consideration to arrive in my house or somebody's house and you use a glass and you say, where can I go and wash it? Or you use a spoon or your thing. And or you go and help yourself to a glass from the cabinet and you go to the sink to rinse it out first because you presume that things that are in a cabinet are dirty.
Mhm.
You know, some people do that.
Yes.
They believe that things in a cabinet are in storage.
Mhm.
And when
Okay.
you take things from storage, you need to refresh it before you use it. You may offend your hostess.
Yes.
You certainly would make me
But-
very doubtful about what you do in your house.
Rinse it.
So if I go to your house, that means I have to take up a glass and rinse it.
Oh, so but the principle I hear you
But to
talking
avoid those
about,
things, we
you
have
have
rules.
rules of engagement that everybody needs
Absolutely.
to
They
understand.
need to understand and know it. And when you are in the house
Mhm.
and something happens which is a breach of the rules, everybody knows what to do.
Yeah. But because in our house, and I'm referring to Project Jamaica,
Yes.
it looks like we have different rules for different people.
Everybody has set them own rule, like your 13-year-old.
I can't never forget. Him say, man, do what it's it,
Man
and
do
it
what
is,
they want.
and the principle really is in Joshua, in Judges, it says everybody was doing what everybody figured was right in
Yeah.
their own eyes,
And
and
so
there
it was
is
chaos.
not clear within our Jamaican society what rules must be adhered to by everybody else, which is why you have the corruption problem, you have the problem with crime and violence in our society. Violence.
You said it right the first time.
Violence. So what we need is a return to what really are the moral underpinnings of our society. What is right, what is wrong. The rules of engagement must be known. And it must be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Which is what has led to the breakdown.
Well, the first rule is that the rules apply to everybody.
Yes.
Rule number 1. These rules apply
to everybody. And that is the challenge we are having now. And so therefore, if the rules don't apply to everybody, it results in a breakdown of trust.
Yep.
And that is what we are seeing in terms of what is happening between the persons who lead and the persons who are following. There's a great big disconnect between the leaders and the general population, because one set of rules for you guys, but you're trying to enforce a different set of rules for us, and you don't follow the rules that you make.
So, like it or not, this code of conduct, if both leaders sign off on it, it will be a monumental, it look like a small step, but the day
It will be a watershed moment in our country in terms of dealing with a lot of the things that need to happen.
The day they sit down and sign it, things will shift in this country.
Yeah, because it will cause for a spiritual shift tsunami to happen.
Exactly so.
Yes, and so it's important. So we might make light of these things. It's just a piece of paper, but I tell you, my friend, they said perception drives your reality.
Yeah, and the fact that they're taking time tells you that they understand the significance of it. Because if you didn't believe in it and it's just a piece of paper, you just sign it when it comes and send it back. You don't even apply your mind. But the time that they're taking tells you that they realize that when I sign this, I have opened a door to a level of inquiry into my affairs that I had better be able to withstand.
Which
Once
brings
they sign it,
yeah,
there should be a whole public thing on it,
education, what it means.
what it means, and persons should be able to move forward. Can I tell you, in the British Virgin Islands, where the Commission of Inquiry into the corruption and breaches of in public office led to where they are now, which is like back under some kind of conservatory, direct rule by the UK is looming for them. When Greg was on the program and we were talking, and the other conversations too, he has said that what's happening there now, there's such great uncertainty with public officers because the most damaging charge against them is breach of public duty or, misbehavior in public office. That can be anything from taking a couple of paper clips to a contract worth millions of dollars. It can be anything because those 7 principles, which we just adverted to, those are enduring, commonly accepted, best practice principles that govern the behavior of public officers. Actually, they govern the behavior of people who are under obligation or duty.
And that so let's go again. The principles are selflessness. That's one. That's the first one, right? Selflessness.
Selflessness.
Yes. And then you have holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or other obligation to individuals or organizations that might seek to encourage improper behavior in the performance of their official duties. A third principle is honesty. This is the best policy. The other principles are objectivity, accountability, openness, and leadership. Wow. So those are the and as we speak to our leaders, we as Jamaicans need to adopt those principles because you see, if those principles, are adopted by Jamaicans in terms of their dealings with one another, what you will have, if you think of it as a cream rising to the top, if that is in the mix, then it will flow to the very top and it will force our leaders to behave themselves. If you want to think of it like that.
And that's why I think they are taking their time. Take your time, but come on board.
Yes, come on board.
Clearly, the earlier you do it,
Let's
start the new year.
That's right. You spoke about the let's sign it in the first 3 months. We have the prayer breakfast coming up.
Yes,
it would be wonderful if the persons who are driving the National Prayer Breakfast Committee let them sign it there. So that's a good place to start. Yeah.
All right. Last night I did an exercise. It sounds like you were at a place last night too. I know we weren't at the same place, but I hear you talking about the Jeremiah letter that you referred to somewhere last night.
29/11. Yeah, man. We're at that place together.
You were
in the spirit.
Right. So where I was, I asked a group of women to speak on what they hope to accomplish personally for 2023.
Oh, plans.
And what they want to see in the nation
for
2023.
So you have those things?
Yeah, I do. I have what they all said, and it really was. It is just always heartwarming to hear the regular folk speak the truth and the powerful, uplifting things that we are thinking of, because you just want to know that somewhere in Jamaica there are right-thinking people who are operating in the same vein as you are. We might not be seeing it right now in the upper echelons of government, but I just need to know that it is still taking place. You always want to know that you're not alone. Elijah had said, "Oh Lord, Jezebel has killed all of your prophets, and I alone am left."
I said, "Shut your mouth. 7,000 still have not bowed the knee."
And he said there are 7,000. So it's always a joy to find one of the 7,000 who have not bowed their knees to the gods of the day. So I had a group of women in fellowship, and everybody expressed their hope. It was about maybe 11 or 12 of us, not a big group, too big for what I was doing, but still, it was a small group. Our recurring theme was we want to see people united in moving in a certain direction. And of course, crime and violence featured. One lady she said when she was downtown during the holidays, she couldn't answer her phone because she didn't want to take out her phone and bring attention to it and somebody steal it.
Safety and
She
security.
felt very vulnerable and insecure moving about in the city. And she would like to see Jamaicans have a return of that sense of safety and being easy and comfortable moving around in the public spaces. One person had been in a recent motor vehicle accident as a passenger, and she spoke feelingly about wanting to feel safe on the roads again. How people drive, the carnage on the roads with the number of fatalities coming out of accidents and so on. Can we return to that time, if there ever was such, when persons were patient, were just
Thinking about the other person.
calm and more measured in how they drive, and remembering that you have the lives of passengers in your hands.
In your
It's
vehicle.
not just you driving.
Not you alone, you know.
So that was a standout moment. One young lady said she moves a lot amongst the youth in marginalized communities, and she would like to see a more determined effort to put opportunities and training and investment in our young people. Do
The
something
human
for them.
capital.
Yes.
You know, yesterday in the paper,
She spoke about that.
somebody was raised a question about what is happening with heart. That was a question in the paper yesterday. And I think it's a concern that a lot of people had, but let us move forward.
Yeah. There was that. Quite like 2 or 3 persons said they want to see the church stand up in its position of influence and impact. And they want to see unity in the church. They want to hear the church community speaking with a unified voice, and just about across the board, everybody wanted to see a more godly society, a more God-centered approach to the resolution of problems and so on. And when I hear God-centered, I understand that they're not saying let us all have a revival tent in halfway tree or at the stadium. They were talking about simple things like being more kind, being gentler with each other, more considerate, more helpful, seeing another man's problem as your responsibility to resolve, and
Loving each other.
loving each other. That's what they were talking about.
Talking about one love.
Yeah. Of course, there are some people whose utterances are so important that it's reported in the newspapers.
Yes.
And we see, I've been watching them, what people are saying. Dr. Lucian Jones is there today, and the JMEA president, John Mahfood, is being quoted today. And the things that he has listed: tackling crime, wants to see the downtown Kingston redevelopment plan kick in, and some labor issues, he says, are key to a successful 2023. How he has positioned it, and I mean, we've been hearing John Mahfood. You know, when people are on the rise, it's pleasing to see a man of mature years on the rise.
Mature. He's been around.
He's not done yet. He's been around, but he's been speaking on different issues for some time. I certainly saw enough of him in 2022
when he was talking about the economic and the interest rates, and remember, it was one of the things.
Yeah, and I think he's one who said the government should sell their interest in the in JPS.
Okay.
Some persons speak from a big business perspective. The truth is, we don't really need to hear any more big business perspective, because they're always speaking. They're very influential. I have been for a long time. And a lot of the problems that we see now with the general population, the root cause is in the big business perspective that has held dominance in Jamaica for such a long time that others of us have become invisible. But from his perspective, he talks about the development of downtown Kingston. The development of downtown Kingston, I think, will never become a reality until and unless proper arrangements are made for the relocation of small business people, whether they're peddlers or hustlers, any word you want to call for them, and the people who live downtown. I don't know if you were like me who never knew that people live downtown.
No, sister.
You always knew that people live downtown.
Yeah, because my mother would tell me stories about living in Jonestown as a child and that kind of thing. And I'd have to go downtown anyway.
Where is Jonestown? What part of downtown?
Downtown.
East or west?
Almost pretty close to where.
Central?
Yeah. No, it's not central. Where KPH is, Saipan Road, that side.
So west.
West.
Yeah.
I knew downtown was
but
downtown.
Those are housing communities with houses. Unfortunately, when more, or maybe I don't know, perhaps I'm wrong, but downtown to me is more King Street and.
Oh, so you mean that people live downtown in those places?
So I never know that people live downtown. I worked downtown. That was my first job as an attorney, was downtown on East Street. And I used to wonder where, when you're leaving in the after 7,
yeah, it's
a whole new life is going on.
You see it, sister,
and
man.
I'm wondering, where do they live? Because I don't see no housing development.
Oh, jeez.
This them may talk about.
Hush me,
The
dear.
people that occupy abandoned buildings and houses that look like
they're ready to fall down.
They're ready to fall down. Until you have a proper relocation and housing solutions for that community of persons, downtown will never take place. Notwithstanding that there have been some mysterious fires in central Kingston, which look like people are clearing the land.
Oh, they are?
Well, it looked like it. When you hear that 30 people dispossessed of housing and the housing was some fairly ramshackle operation that they had occupied. And you have a lot of people that look like Mr. Mahfood who are quietly buying up parcels of land downtown. Some of them are doing it surreptitiously using, law firms and middlemen, and something is happening downtown, which now that I think they have taken control of the land, there is a push now for the development of downtown Kingston. But I am speaking it that until we make proper arrangements for the displacement of people who have been pushed to the point where they are living under some very uncertain conditions in these neighborhoods, God will not permit it. I know we like to think that everything is in the imagination and will of man, but he will not permit us to press on with our plans to take more and enjoy more of the bounty of this country, while others are getting less and less by virtue of our own action. And I'm not saying downtown shouldn't be put under proper development. It should. But we should take care of those who are displaced
vulnerable.
by that effort.
Do you know that thing in terms of dealing with the vulnerable, the dispossessed, and it's a constant theme in scripture, from beginning to the end. Yeah. And it's in the heart of God.
Yeah. I know I'm not saying anything exceptional or groundbreaking when I say it, because it has been so from for eternity. Or from time immemorial. Here's what Mr. Mahfood says, and it makes my point. This matter has been on every government's agenda for decades. They've always wanted to do it. But little has been done to make it a reality, and the Urban Development Corporation has failed miserably to make it a reality. Every other Caribbean island has been able to maintain and grow its original town center and benefit greatly from this. A revitalized downtown would be a tremendous thing from a point of view of tourism, entertainment, and the economy. A minimum requirement for this to happen is the provision of adequate parking. He doesn't even talk about the relocation of the people who are occupying the place. Mr. Mahfood says this is a thing about tourism, entertainment, and the economy. Those are the drivers for the change that would see to the displacement of many people who are, I don't know how many are down there, and we need to check those things. Isn't that interesting?
Well, look at it this way.
Does God approve of us making decisions that affect people for reasons that have to do with tourism, entertainment, and economy?
But people would say those are
Where are
people are
the people?
employed in it. people counter with that, but I understand what you're saying. You have to, I will keep saying it, and people have to be the center of your planning for real development.
And then he touches on something that is certainly in my heart: housing for tourism workers, but not just tourism workers, really.
Housing for
But
everybody.
is housing for everybody. But he says the tourism sector presents the greatest opportunity for growth in Jamaica. Wrong. Are you in agreement with that? Do you think the tourism sector presents the greatest opportunity for growth
Short term.
in Jamaica?
Short term, yes. But long term, no. You have to balance the short term and the long term.
What you call short term? Because the time that it takes.
The short term in terms of the election.
The time. Oh, see, your moral compass just went into a tailspin.
Not me, team. I'm just, you see, in order to
speak as though you were the prime minister.
No, wait. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock.
Saved by the bell.
No, not saved by the bell. Yeah. No, but I wanted to see what these other people are saying.
Oh, okay.
Because he was speaking
Lucian
about
Jones is the National Road
let's
Safety
steer
Council
the country in the right
chairman.
direction.
Oh, he says, my hope and prayer for Jamaica is that the love of God and the peace that passeth all on human understanding may rest and abide with us as a people who trust in the eternal Father and his Son. Oh, well, this is a lot more Christian than I had hoped for. That's what he says.
Yes.
That's what he says. And then he talks about an American president. Now you want us to take the break? Okay, we...
You simply the best.
Best FM 100.5 on your dial. Keep listening.
Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. The former Pope, Benedict XVI, has been laid to rest in the grottos of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican after tens of thousands of mourners attended a requiem mass for him in St. Peter's Square. Pope Francis led the service alongside his predecessor's wooden coffin, praising him for bestowing wisdom, tenderness and devotion on the Catholic faithful.
And God's faithful people gathered here now accompanies and entrusts to him the life of the one who was their pastor. Like the women at the tomb, we too have come with the fragrance of gratitude and the balm of hope, in order to show him once more the love that is undying.
One of the winners of last year's Nobel Peace Prize has gone on trial in Belarus. Ulies Bialyatsky was a founder of the leading human rights group Vyasna and is being tried along with two fellow campaigners, Valentin Stefanovich and Vladimir Labkovich. Colleagues say they're accused of tax offences and helping groups which violate public order. Here's our Europe regional editor, Paul Moss.
The Nobel Peace Prize Committee was in no doubt. Awarding the prize to Ulies Bialyatsky, they described him as someone who devoted his life to promoting democracy. But Mr. Bialyatsky wasn't around to receive the award in person. He's been held in a Belarus prison since being arrested last July, along with two other members of the campaign group he founded. Vyasna has long been a thorn in the side of the Belarusian government, monitoring the arrest and torture of other human rights protesters. If found guilty, the three men face up to 12 years in prison.
The Kenyan President William Ruto has disclosed that he fired the former head of criminal investigations because of a rise in the number of killings carried out by the police. He'd earlier said that George Kinoti resigned. In a surprising admission, Mr. Ruto said over 200 bodies had been found in rivers and thickets across the country. Will Ross reports.
William Ruto described the police force as a rogue institution. Kenyans are well aware that police brutality is common, but during an interview with local media, their president gave some grim details. He said there was a shipping container at a police station in Nairobi where people were being slaughtered. Mr. Ruto said he told the Police Oversight Authority to investigate the killings and has promised justice. But the Inspector General of Police recently said his force should not be cowed by what he called busybodies who are calling for the arrest of officers.
China has called on the World Health Organization to be scientific, objective and just, a day after the WHO cast doubt on the reliability of official Chinese COVID statistics. A Foreign Ministry spokeswoman said Beijing maintained close cooperation with the organisation. On Wednesday, the WHO said the Chinese COVID figures were understated. BBC News. Iran has announced the closure of a Tehran-based French research institute in protest at the publication of new cartoons of the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, by France's satirical weekly Charlie Hebdo. The magazine's latest issue featured the winners of a cartoon contest in which readers had been asked to draw caricatures of the Ayatollah following Iran's brutal suppression of anti-government protests there. The Palestinian Health Ministry says a 16-year-old Palestinian boy has been shot dead by Israeli forces after clashes broke out in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli military said gunmen had fired on soldiers during an operation to arrest 2 people in Nablus. A newspaper report based on a leaked copy of an upcoming autobiography by Britain's Prince Harry has claimed the book includes an accusation that his brother Prince William physically attacked him. The Guardian says Spare, which is published next week, describes a heated argument between the princes over Harry's wife Meghan. The BBC has not seen a copy. The English Football Association is condemning a rise in abusive chants at football grounds. There are calls for clubs which fail to tackle the problem to be fined or have points docked. Some chants included the 1989 Hillsborough Stadium crush. Nick Garnett reports.
The sun was right, your murderers, goes the chant. A reference to the Hillsborough disaster. This recording was made at Anfield when Manchester City played Liverpool last autumn. Abusive chants are also being heard elsewhere, at Old Trafford about the Munich air disaster, and this week, homophobic chants directed towards Chelsea when they played at Nottingham Forest. Appeals to fans to stop have fallen on deaf ears. Margaret Aspinall, whose son James was killed at Hillsborough, says fining clubs and docking points is the only solution.
BBC News.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose your problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040. Or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Try and call you, cause trust me.
What a relief.
382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice.
For discussions on health and education, inspiring interviews, surprise giveaways, your favorite songs, tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Sunday at 11:30 to 12 noon. It's Distinction 411, your weekly college magazine program hosted by James and the Distinction family. Catch you on Sunday.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Yes, what's coming to Best 100 of them? In the mix with Nessa and DJ Richie. The mix comes on every Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join us as we entertain you, inform you, and educate you on everything that will keep you in the mix on Best 100 of them. Come on, have vibes.
And look, 'cause you open up the
Live camera volume. Live it up Fridays on Best 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday, giving you the better vibes heard everywhere.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back. Welcome back as we finish our first week fully back.
Yes,
and
don't
you
forget
and you
Thursday.
pointed out a very interesting principle that I think we should adopt. The 3-day principle. What you do in the first 3 hours, what you do in the first 3 days, what you do in the first 3 months will affect what happens for the rest of this year. So those of us who have not sat down to really ponder and think and project, we encourage you to begin to do that in terms of your life. Because remember, what you do today affects your tomorrow. And so with the backdrop of Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Use that as a backdrop and know that when you plan with God and you are in relationship with Him, He says He will direct your steps. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all of thine heart, lean not unto thine own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He'll direct your path. But even as we would open the lines coming back from the break, we want to acknowledge and to recognize the tremendous work that Professor Richard Bernal played not only in Jamaica as our ambassador to US, but also as someone who has served the region well in terms of CARICOM, in terms of the body of work that he has done in terms of economic development. And also, we want to, give props. The youngsters would say give props to the Integrity Commission for pressing the envelope in terms of applying what the law says in terms of putting to our leaders to sign this code of conduct. And we must remember we did it. So it looks like things are beginning to take a turn. We speak a lot of things, but we are not beating the air. We are indeed affecting the atmosphere in a real way.
Okay, sir. The numbers to call us.
876-279-8473, 876-619-1508. What say you on the matters that we have discussed this morning? And a minute as we open the lines, I don't want us to forget that very tremendous point you made in terms of being agree in terms of the moral compass and what that means for us as a country. I want to go back over what you were saying.
Oh, thank God. Saved by the best. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning, George. Happy, blessed New Year to you. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I hear you, You hear me?
Yes. What did you say? You're hardly hearing us?
I'm saying that the ear is new.
Oh, all right.
What's your top laugh off of me, man?
No, it's because I completely misheard what you were saying.
New.
And it's so like you say, I'm hardly hearing you. I thought you said that you were hardly hearing us.
No, man. They said the year new.
Yeah, brand new.
Brand new.
But
I just, sometimes I have some friends who say, well, they don't listen news and they don't read paper because of the situation. But I tell them that you have to listen to news and still read the paper because these things are around us, are before us, are behind us. You understand me? And sometimes I read some article and stuff like that, and I say, wow. I mean, this person came down, this gentleman came down for New Year from England.
This is the Englishman who...
Yes.
You understand me?
Yeah, lost his life while in Jamaica. But
yes.
The report closed with a reference to the fact that the person who killed him was someone who had been deported from the UK prior. And it seems like there's a backstory to it that we're going to hear some more about it. It might not be as random as
it's not random. And I saw something on Loop with the deputy commissioner
confirming
that it was a contract killing.
Yes,
and this gentleman had a history in England in terms of a lot of stuff. So
which followed him here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
No, man, from you read it, it was not robbery. They came for him, run him down and shoot him, and no report of anything being taken from him. So you knew that it was not random. And chickens have a way of coming home to roost. We'd prefer if they don't roost in Jamaica, where we already have such big problems. But
let's read this thing down. There was a lady on YouTube was talking and telling that if anybody live overseas, then if they come back to Jamaica, call it because people are going to kill them and all type of things. And, and then I see several returning residents having these problems.
Yeah, I was going to say to you that might sound harsh, but it's not unfair, really. A few persons have come back to Jamaica and lost their life. Even that boxer who had returned to Portland, I think. I always remember him.
Oh, Trevor Burbick.
Yeah.
Man survived all kind of hostilities in the ring and come home to his country and ends up dead in some unseemly.
Family dispute over land and things like that. And them say you were every champion of the world and you had money and thing, and you went to jail and then you was deported down here, come back down here with nothing, and then start a fight for land possession.
You know Portland running, Scott. That is your preferred.
Yeah, man. The place is a quiet place. The place is nobody arguing. You want to sit and go on the side of the go. You understand me?
Yeah, but you're now speaking in the vein, George, that we were talking about earlier. You live in society, meaning you're moving amongst people, and you can't find ways to handle disputes and issues that arise in a way. You can't find a way that is comfortable and peaceful and makes sense for the majority. Somebody have to leave feeling so disgruntled that they turn to violence when your back is turned.
Yes, but listen now.
Yes.
I'm going to say something to you now. You see this dead left land? That will make the family war get very big.
And everybody I got dead left the same land.
Yes. My God. Why people don't fight over land, so?
Well, that's not in my DNA. But
people leave from foreign and come back to Jamaica after much year come fight for land because their mother dead.
Yeah,
father them come out. Why? These things happen and sometimes, sometimes the father, just to listen, this thing will cause a problem, I know right now,
Yeah, but this is because our treatment of land kind of become the holy grail. Everybody's prepared to kill for it because everybody should have it and don't. Some of them is just plain greed. But for a lot of us, it is the uncertainty about what we leave for our children, how secure we feel where we are living now, that fuels all of this great passion surrounding land. Well, the way I was raised, I born and see my father on a spot of land that was his. So I never had any uncertainty about the ownership of land or, relationship with land. And as soon as it was possible for me, I bought my own home. So I don't have that passion about it when my father left this world, I had no interest in anything that he was leaving behind because I had managed to find something for myself. That is what everybody need to be comfortable with, that I have a spot for myself, that no one can push me off it. This is outside of those who just greedy and want more than they need. But we should be in a position in this country where every Jamaican of adult age and with the prospect of starting a family didn't have to fret and scratch them head over where them are gonna live. So
Yeah, because go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, so you spot it. You spot land disputes as being a great driver, as being a violence producer. We can solve that. We can solve that in the policies that we implement that deal with home ownership and how people have access to land.
Exactly, because I'm going to show you something, you know. There was about some 18 or 19 years ago when I was doing sales, I was on the road, and a man showed me a house back in a place in St. Elizabeth. Then and he showed me that all the house, where them do barbed wire thrown and things like that.
You forgot to talk fast, you know, George, because we have another call.
And I asked him what happened. Him says family them kill off them. Every family go there, them get chopped up by a gunshot. So the government just, eventually just lock it off. No family no go there. Then just keep it, just white off and under the government. Them just control that because every family go there, them kill them. They kill them one there, chop them one there. So the house coming like a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
You just go there, look at them, tell you how much people
many
die.
people? Wow.
Your husband there, when them are going to produce that again?
Oh, Mr. Lawrence. Lowell, George, I call you out.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah, hear me quick because we have another call.
All right.
Okay. Shouting you out in the background.
All right.
Yeah, man. Me a German fan too, you know, so.
All right, then. All right, George.
So we are real family, yeah?
All right, then, George. Bless up to you in the new year. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Same to you too, all right?
All right.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Rastafari love to everyone. Back on the job this morning.
Yes.
It's about removing the bondage of deception. Trying to remain calm this morning, calm enough to get the job done. Because we have reached a point where for plenty reasons I have to get the job done this morning.
So what's the job this morning?
Yeah, I have a responsibility in the whole. I have a responsibility. I have a job to carry out in the removal of the bondage, the yoke of deception. From the Rastafari nation and from the eyes of the whole world. Bear with me, please. History must record the truth that Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia is the most perfect example of a righteous politician and righteous head of state. The only man that, by a very, very long stretch, to be seen in that perspective. History must also record that Haile Selassie of Ethiopia is the only head of state that has ridden at the spearhead of his army on the battlefield. History must record that the Davidic covenant of 2 Samuel chapter 7 made between King David of Israel and the Almighty God is fulfilled in only one man, Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia.
So tell me now, these declarations that you're making, what is the source of them and the importance of them to the things we talk about? Because you're just issuing these declarations. I can tell they are your opinions, but what what is the significance to us right now? Because I listen quietly, but it's not because I agree with what you're saying. And you're talking about history recording it. Whose history is recording it? And get to the job now of telling us what's the significance of all of this.
In terms
So
of destroying the deception.
the
that is to
deception that you're talking about.
It is my firm conviction that the whole scenario of the trip to England to identify and bring home the remains of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the supposed burning of cremation of those remains to ashes, the sponsoring of a state funeral and interment, those remains being interred at the National Heroes Park, and thereafter Marcus Mosiah Garvey being conferred the honor of the first national hero of this nation. I am saying that I am firmly convicted that all of that scenario was a massive act of sorcery.
Okay.
And
Further to that,
so what has it affected? What has
further to that,
All right. So
the idol of Marcus Mosiah Garvey has been
so Rasmandito,
Rasmandito, yeah.
we like to have conversations, and much as we love the passion with which you speak and so on, you really do tend to take a very lecturing tone when you're speaking to us, and we don't like it at all, and our listeners don't like it either. So let us converse. You have made, hear me now? Conversation means you speak, I speak, and then hopefully we repeat that cycle. Right. So you've made some declarations and some pronouncements. They all sound like they have academic and maybe philosophical significance. But we are only on this program to try and move an agenda in today's world. So you say we have been deceived where certain things are concerned. How has it confused us in the handling of current matters? Just link it to something for me, and let's, yes. So how has it confused us? Yes.
Because history must also record the fact that Marcus Mosiah Garvey has been the greatest, most
Rasmandito, please stop in your tracks for me.
I have asked that you bear with me.
I'm not going to bear with
All right.
you.
So
I'm not going to bear with you.
we have another caller. So we're gonna take that call. All right. Welcome, caller. How are you this morning? Welcome, caller. We got another caller waiting. You know, I need to, Rasmandita, if you're listening, it's the second time that you have come on. It's a personal opinion. It's not backed by the facts, historical facts there. So, my brother, for yourself, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Please. All right? Leave it alone. Leave it alone. As we continue to speak about, I was saying to you the point that you raised means in regards to how we need to come to a consensus in terms of where we're going as a nation. And it really goes back to how do we decipher what is right and wrong and have a moral compass? And it's becoming even more significant now, even as we seek to deal with the corruption that is prevalent in our society at all levels. We think it's only government, but at all levels, there is a corruption that needs to change. We have a caller on, and welcome, caller. How are you? Good morning. Hello? Caller? We're not hearing the caller this morning. But and you see, you're looking at a headline that says police officer charged in cooking oil theft case returns to court Monday. Oh, hallelujah. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Elaine. How are you?
Okay. Yes. Good morning to all my brothers and my sisters, right across from the east to the west to the north and to the south of this wonderful, beautiful, lovely garden. Well, Miss Minute.
Yes, my dear.
Brother Percy, what's up? What's going on?
You tell us.
Why? I don't know what to say. We need to get the things, we need to get right, but we are Brother Percy.
All right. Miss Elaine, just hold it. We're on our 8:30 break. Just hold on a sec. Okay? We're coming back to you. All right. Thank you.
Half a tree, one and drive. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose your problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Trust me.
What a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866. We are something special on the road.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Yes, what's coming to the best 100 of them. With Nessa and DJ Richie. The mix comes on every Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join us as we entertain you, inform you, and educate you on everything that will keep you in the mix on the best 100 of them. Someone out there.
And then him stop listening to you. You want to make all of his decoration.
Ready, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Lady Lee, the Queen of the South, and I'm inviting you all to trailblaze with me on the best of the best radio station, the Best 100 FM, Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. You can't afford to miss it on your airwaves. Yes, Trailblaze with Lady Lee right here, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on the best of the best, Best 100 FM. Mwah.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning. Welcome back, Miss Elaine. How are you?
Yes, we are blessed. We are blessed.
Okay.
Yes, Brother Percy. From the Bible, from the Brother Percy, when I African them, when them used to pray, them who them used to pray to those time?
Same God that we serve. Why you ask that question?
Because Brother Percy, we think we pray too much.
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture, I was shocked when I said this. Yes. We need to stop praying, no man. We pray. We pray when we know somebody is sick or somebody, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But we need to start give praise.
Okay.
We now give praise and thanks. I pray, and I want, and everything is here.
I like what you said, but you see, praise is a part of prayer, because if you're only thinking of prayer in terms of asking, then you have only limited it to one section. But if you go through the Psalms,
man.
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with you, because you praise about communication. You are having conversation at all times with God, who has expressed himself through the person of Jesus Christ. And there are different types of prayers, Miss Elaine. But one of the things which I think you're trying to touch base is we're praying, but we're not acting. Because when you pray, you get instructions. Right. So I'm in agreement with you. So that we need to begin not only to pray, but to bring the prayer into action, which is what James was talking about. Yeah.
Some people say them can't pray and them can't this. And some people them when them try to praise, like, you understand? But if you start just praise and give thanks at the same prayer you do now.
I agree with you.
Just give thanks, not asking nothing.
Yes.
And put yourself, because him say, do his will, do his work. What is your work? What is his work? It's a thing say, to go pray and go and go into the worship center and them little things there. That's work.
That's a part of it. That's a part of it. But what has happened, Miss Elaine, is that we have separated our worship from our daily lives. But if you look at worship, there is a whole thing of service and work. And so if your worship is your service and you work that you do every day, then you're good. But we do a separation, which is not a good thing.
Some people think them have to sit time to pray and all of them things there. You pray, you walk down the road, you sit down amongst your brethren, them, you give him thanks and praise.
Right.
You thank him for no say you're there right amongst your brethren, them.
Right.
In the world there, you just give thanks and praise.
Okay.
You understand?
And I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, so...
Listen, Mr. Mackenzie, a bad man, you know?
Which one that?
Desmond Mackenzie.
What you say about him?
He's a really bad man.
Oh, you think him good behaving like a bad man?
Because I hear some things. Say, lad, the girl,
Oh, you mean with the protest that people had recently that was in the paper? About it?
I don't know if it was in the paper about him go down there and this man Mackenzie run him and cuss him out and tear down him things. What kind of man? What kind of leader is that?
Okay.
In my Andrew is the same thing because I say we Andrew go on the people them house before him have a reasoning with them. How you for do that?
So you're saying that they need to be reasoning. So we give praise and we reason. Miss Elaine, we have another call online. So we're gonna take that call, all right?
No, the man here for the man going at the park and him going there with him gang and what up the man again.
Okay.
You know, that is why the Integrity Commission's Code of Conduct has some things in it about leadership and the behavior that we expect to see from our leaders. So let us put our weight behind getting
The leaders to
Mr.
sign.
Holness and Mr.
Golding to sign.
Golding to sign off on a code of conduct that would give us a place to start as we protest and talk about these kinds of behaviors.
All right,
That's
Miss-
the consensus that we need. Thanks, Mr. Lane.
All right, Miss Elaine.
You're supposed to call me, you know, call me.
We're gonna call you.
Listen, I forgot to take your number. I took it a while ago from
And we'll call you.
I'll call
All right,
you.
Miss Elaine. Thanks for calling. Blessings. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Yes, hear me please. Cumulatively over the past 40, at least over the past 40 years,
Yes.
I have been witness and victim to some acts that displayed an alarming level of moral depravity.
By whom?
Well, by certain individuals whom I refer to as Garveyites underlapped, which profess to be Rastafari.
So it's personal for you.
Well, I'm just sharing. I just want to share my experience.
Yeah, but if your experience, you see, when something happens of a personal nature, although you elevate it to a political move based on those persons' ideology, it may just be a personal nature, like George was speaking to us earlier about. When I did not know that Trevor Berbick, Trevor Berbick's death under very violent conditions in Jamaica came out of a land dispute. But when you look at it as a land dispute, those who say, look how this man came back to Jamaica having attained some notoriety in the field of sports, and his fellow countryman then kill him. It looks like Jamaica is a place of random violence against persons who, had they been elsewhere, they would have been treated with honor. But it turns out to be just another family dispute. So when you tell me that you over 40 years has been the victim of mistreatment or abuse at the hands of Rastafarians who were Garveyites, is that a basis for you to disparage and speak against Marcus Garvey on our program, where we are not in agreement with you that Marcus Garvey should be treated in that way? Yes. Yes.
I know I shouldn't touch you, but I have to, just because my credit may soon run out. Let me just say it.
Yes.
Let me just say this before that happens.
Yes.
What I refer to as Garveyites and the lap professing to be Rastafari
yes.
is a total seed of falsehood. Falsehood in the sense that Marcus Mosiah Garvey is no national hero, he's a greatest scammer.
But what I'm saying to you is, how does Marcus Garvey come into it if you're saying that those persons were operating under false pretense? Why are you even disparaging Marcus Garvey with us in a context where we're clearly not with you?
Because we love it, minute. In the words of Isaiah 57, verse 14, cast ye up, prepare the way, take up the stumbling block out of the way of
all right.
my
Listen,
people.
Mandito, we're not with you on this argument that you're putting forward. We think Jamaicans are confused enough.
Okay. No. Massive mockery of Rastafari.
Mr. Rebel is not. Mr. Rebel is not on the call, and we're not. Listen, please use the time that you have with us to focus on something that is current and relatable for our listeners. If you and I were seated together in a private setting and you wanted to share any of these ideas with me, no problem. But while we have the responsibility of curating arguments and positions for the benefit of the public, we don't want to use it this way. And it pains my heart to shut you down on something that you've been working your way towards for such a long time. But I don't find it to be beneficial, and we're being very choosy about what we entertain and position in the ears of our listeners.
Okay.
All right,
Have another caller.
Rasmandito.
Yeah.
And we have another caller. So this is not the platform for your fight against Garveyism and your disparagement of a man whom we honor for his contribution to not just nation building, but the world. The United Nations Declaration of Human Rights is almost word for word what Marcus Garvey pulled out of that convention, which he hosted in New York so many years ago.
In the early
So
20s, yeah.
let's be respectful in our treatment of people who dead and gone and can't support themselves or defend themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Morning caller, welcome.
Good morning.
Morning, Wayne.
Good morning. I say, guy, public, I got to up everything, you know. So you can't to feel out here. I'm just not the public, so you got to up on these things.
No, we're cool.
What I talk about now? Corey. Yeah, me and Corey out about farming.
Yes.
And I would direct Corey to a South Korean man called Jadam, Jadam, organic farming. You know, cause I've been studying farming, organic, and I would recommend you to look up that on YouTube or wherever on the social media. You
So
know,
this
cause
is
I
the
promote the
person.
farming thing.
So this is someone whose practices and methodologies you have adopted and you found it beneficial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
What in
find your
particular
straight
do
to
you
nature.
like about Jadam?
Organic.
Because in point is straight to nature. He said, look and learn from nature. Nature is our greatest teacher.
Yes.
You know, and through his experience, as a well-known man, so well-known. When he go up on it, when him go up on it, I know and go up on it, you know, see. You know, so I just recommend a good force.
A
Because I
good
don't
source,
recommend
okay.
good forces,
Yeah,
let me see,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Pastor, this man, we have a question more ask about, we don't know, it just black out of my mind right now, you know, but anyway, still, I'm going to talk about something with me, Mr. Wholeness.
Yes.
Where sometimes it flash to my mind and I feel like it's a misguided view the demons are putting in my head when him think like that. All right. Me and Mr. Wholeness speak about, like when you build house, when you go up, it's like he must say, oh, they're more expensive or hard. I think him say more expensive, so I better you go wide. But if him go wide, he must go cut down more tree and farming land. And when you do that, it helps the place to get more drier. And at the long run, we have less rainfall and less water. You know, so I think when me hear Black that speech, me, in my understanding, I don't think I'd agree with him.
What did he say?
You know?
You should go wider instead of higher?
Yeah. You know, in house building, I'm not talking about
Yes.
building houses. You know, I mean, I say, boys, so why they have to cut down a lot of trees? I have to be careful how we are cutting down trees.
But the policy
and keep the earth cool.
But the policy has changed now to permit more persons to build higher. So what was he talking about? Do you recall?
No, that's a part of me catch when he must talk about.
Okay.
You know, like he must say, to go higher, like it more expensive. Something like that, me him say.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, so otherwise, me don't know. When not talk to me about, say something to me. Ask me some questions, say something. Because me just tune in still, you know, so I don't like me not listen from morning.
Okay.
You know, something. Anything you ask me, Mr. Pastor?
No, we were talking about the integrity and the Integrity Commission and what they have said, you know. In
The Integrity Commission has put a code of conduct for the signature by both Prime Minister and Leader of the Opposition. It's been on the table since the 15th of November 2022. Up to the last hearing, and it's reported today, neither of them have signed it. And we've been talking about the significance of a code of conduct, which has in it some principles that would prevent politicians from being in any kind of financial arrangement or state of obligation where someone could direct the decisions they make and the movements.
Undue influence.
Undue influence on them. Yes.
All right.
We've been
all right.
talking about what it means that they haven't signed it. And if they sign it, what kind of changes would they be looking at in how things currently stand? What's your view? Should they sign it? Shouldn't they sign it?
Let's see if these people sit down and look into things and come up with a principle that makes sense and that is good, right? If the opposition leader and the prime minister sign to it, that is one thing. Because we have a longer history where people sign to good things and still not carry it out. You know, so overall, the people them in general just have to go see where they mean to do still, you know. Because these people, because many things them say and sign to. You know, nothing them start that should be of benefit to us, but we see gone somewhere else. They might take the funds and do what they want to do with it, when not benefit us. So, you know, if what them say, I don't know what them say, where them supposed to sign to, but if what them say is natural, pure, good, you know, but signing to a thing again and not enforcing it, living up to your words, that next story. You know. Anyway, let's have up the family.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, let's go. Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, people. How are you doing?
Hi, Franco. How are you?
Blessed up. First of all, I'm surprised to hear your voice this morning, man.
The first time you hear my voice, I've been speaking, man.
No, I thought you flew out yesterday.
Oh, no, sir.
Where you were supposed to go?
No, man, I'm still here.
More Lego the Bird talk.
Oh, because I'm talking about Lego the Bird. Lolly. No, man.
I thought you went to that Coot funeral, man.
You mean Pope Benedict over here? You're too bad, Franco. Oh boy, Franco. You know how long that it would take you from to Jamaica to Rome is what? How long is it? About a day and a half of flying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I know, so you don't want to go there and Coot the funeral, man. I hope a little boy they make I wish they go a beach, them have to wish the water well, you know, sir.
Oh boy. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. But we hear you talking about the NFL player this morning, man. What a sad story, man.
Yeah.
The young boy, he's doing some good work, though.
Yeah, wonderful work for such a young age. A maturity way beyond his years in terms of I have a principle, you see, and it is do not say that I cannot begin to affect what is around me. Because the truth is, Franco, tomorrow is never promised to you. And so I remember I've worked a lot with young people, and I said to them, if you have money is not a problem. And like today is Thursday, next week Thursday, I'm going to be doing your funeral. And you can do anything you want. Money is not a problem. What are the things that you do? And you know what happens, Franco? They speak to three simple principles. The first thing they say is, I'd make sure that me and God are right. Yeah. The next thing that I would do is that I'd ensure that my family is taken care of, that we have good relationships. And then the third thing, most of them would want to do some philanthropic work in terms of doing good. And I said, then what is stopping you from doing it? And this young man looked like he got those three principles down to a T. whatever some people say, whatever your hand finds to do it well and do it with all your might. And so don't say, but I'm going to wait until I have a whole heap of money. But every day that you are upon the earth, you can do good to somebody. You can love somebody. You can honor somebody and do those things. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good to me, but it sounds good. But one more thing real quick. That guy that called about Marcus Garvey, I'm not disrespecting, but
yeah,
I wouldn't mind if he keep that to himself, man. Marcus Garvey, man, please, man. He's trying to tear down Marcus Garvey, man. Please, man. You just keep that to yourself, bro.
Well, thank you for weighing in on that, Franco, because we have the same feeling. One, you speak against a man who is not here to defend himself. Two, you're relying on your own opinion and the opinion of others who came after him seeking to interpret his work. I don't think it is fair comment, and I don't think it is the right way to be even teaching anyone that you can go back and dismantle history to create whatever narrative suits you. We're living under some realities today that require attention. I prefer to spend time on addressing those issues. I don't want just random academic discussions that are disrespectful to persons who are held in high esteem by many others. This is not him calling to say Hitler wasn't a nice guy.
What have you done? I just want to say to him, man, if Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world was following the philosophy of Marcus Garvey, man, I think we'll be a much better people, man. I just want to know that.
Yeah.
Even if he say, what he say, Marcus Garvey is a scammer, even if he was a scammer, if he was following his philosophy,
it'd be better. All right. Well, very well said.
All right. Bless up, and I take care.
All right. Thank you. I'm glad to have heard someone's voice other than our own address that issue. You know, the person who gave Hitler his first break must be still regretting it. Said, that's a soldier that I should have just walked past.
Oh, wow.
And don't give him a microphone. So I'm not going to be the person saying, why on earth did I allow Rasmandito to express those views that have no kind of credible foundation?
Basis in anything at all.
Not giving you a platform for that. And no one could say that we shut it down before we understood what he was saying. He has called us many, many times.
Yeah.
Pulling himself to that particular point and advancing it in a way that has not been honorable. No, not in favor of that. Sitting here watching says, he says, yes, I love your new space. Good morning, TMC family. It's a blessing to have you back in 2023. Yes, I love your new space. Because I did ask, I wanted to hear. So this tells me that he's been sitting there and watching.
Watching.
Yeah, because we flipped around the use of the studio. It's taking a little bit of adjustment.
Really is.
Yeah, but I think.
Throw it through the windows.
But I'm not throwing it through the window as the producer.
Well, I am witness to that, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but you were not witness to the fact that it was my suggestion to come around here.
No, we were told that.
Yeah, so if it is my idea, I am permitted to examine it and probe it and test it if it works.
My idea.
My
all right.
If I had I would remove, I would redesign.
No. This is the time for it.
I would redesign. I would take out this wall. That's what I would do.
For the domestic affair.
Domestic affair.
Studio.
Oh, I don't know what you and Percy were doing, but I would redesign. I would take out this wall. That is my first suggestion. To take out the wall that divides us. I know you and Lowell were creating your own fantasy world, but I take out the wall. That is my next request.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much cooler in here. Big Truck say, I am misleading the people by dressing up as if I'm in Siberia. And Jamaica is a tropical island. But the studio, yeah, the studio is much cooler. So I'm very happy with that change to the affairs of things. So, Big Truck said we're fighting down Ras Mandito. We won't give him a platform to spread his germs.
Big Chuck. Big Chuck.
He's funny this morning. Let's take our
Big
break.
Chuck
It's
always
9
funny in
o'clock.
the mornings.
It's 9 o'clock.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
We are something special on the road.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Seniors, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is advising that the November 2022 payment under the Social Pension Program is now available for collection. Check your text messages to confirm your payment arrangements. For further information, call 876-922-8007. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Try and call him, cause trust me.
What a relief.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Lady Lee, the Queen of the South, and I'm inviting you all to trailblaze with me on the best of the best radio station, the Best 100 FM, Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. You can't afford to miss it on your airwaves. Yes, Trailblaze with Lady Lee right here, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on the best of the best, Best 100 FM. Mwah.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, caller. How are you?
Morning, love and bless.
Good
morning, African.
sir.
How are you, sir?
Morning to your producer, you know. I hear up the people them in Jamaica, no?
You're healing up them. Good morning, sir.
All about around the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the African there. Yeah, we need transportation. But can move the African from border to border, you know?
I mean, like
African
Black Star Line,
transportation. Huh?
Black Star Line, huh?
Yeah, even that was a start, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one virgin coming and fornicate about Marcus Garvey and Rasta. Him sound like what the man the name Buster Manty and him crew.
Wow.
You know? I saw him sound, you know, saw him sound to me. Like Buster Manty and him gang. Remember what they do with Rasta in Jamaica?
Yeah, but so one of the reasons why we did not entertain it once we saw for sure what it was is because we didn't want even our callers to spend precious time dwelling on it, because I don't believe that his view is commonly held, and if it is commonly held, it will find its way into expression. So I hope you had called to say something other than, to express your disapproval of those comments from Rasmandito.
They want to dung in a hell, Rasmandito thing them, the man. Dung, not commonly, dung in a hell. Love and bless.
Yes.
Drug running.
Yes.
Drug running in Jamaica. I hear them hold somebody at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And them say my prominent family
Mm-hmm.
in a Jamaica. I don't hear much about it after that, you know.
Was in the paper
did it happen?
yesterday.
It's fair. It's
recent. It's
recent, and they, so we know that he is brother in the half blood, as they refer to
Michael
it now,
Phillips.
for a sitting member of Parliament, Michael Phillips. But beyond saying that, what are your thoughts? I mean, that has already been published. Is it that you missed what the prominent family connection is, or?
That I did miss.
Oh, okay. Well, that has been made public. Yeah.
So, the drug running in Jamaica and the gun running, we notice them try to put it on certain people in the society, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and try to leave out the prominent one, them, you know.
Well, it is why questions are still on the table about the massive drug find at the Ian Fleming airport. We don't hear anything about that. Not even a little update to say investigations are continuing and would soon be wrapped up. Nothing about that. We are constantly, as you say, hearing about the little man, the man at the end of the it's not even the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear is very important. We're hearing about the man at the low level, and we're not hearing about those who are behind it. And I do not for 1 minute believe that we don't have intelligence on where this is pointing into the big houses of Jamaica, let's call it that. People on the street know and
this
settings.
issue supposed to sieve out and deal with.
Yes.
So them find the cocaine and find how much cocaine per water out there. And then look more on your ear cocaine and ship to go foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yep.
This thing supposed to, what them do with the cocaine when them find it out of the water? What them do with it?
Well, we know they're supposed to destroy it. Once they have it's held as evidence for a time, and then it's supposed to be destroyed. But who knows?
How them destroy that's something there.
Fire is the chosen method.
Just burn it.
They usually burn it.
Miss Minety.
Yes.
Yes, when them carry it away and burn it in a fire, that thing leaves on the ground, see and wait for people can take up, you know.
No, but they're not supposed to do it in that way, because the disposal of certain material is really done in a crematorium type environment. Is intense heat. It's not supposed to be piled up on the ground like you burn things in your backyard. It's not supposed to be. Yeah?
You know them do it?
No, I know how they're supposed to do it. I've never been witness to it. I've sometimes you get the feeling it's a bonfire event, but It's supposed to be done in a particular way.
African laugh.
Hey, me I tell you
Yeah,
about
but you know, African.
say,
Eh?
huh?
What? Tell me. Go ahead.
Miss Minetti, we have see, Miss Minetti.
Yes.
You know, so Jamaica full of street people.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Sometimes you see them on the TV, so them I give them food to eat. And when you see the amount of people in a bedroom,
Are you still there?
it seems like we don't interested in a fix one problem in a Jamaica. That's me I tell you. Watch out, a man was there. A man was there, lose him gun in him parking vehicle and him say somebody take out him gun out of him van. And 45,000.
Was that weapon, was it recovered? Is that one of the
No, Miss Minetti.
Okay.
And under $45,000 you can't pay for that. Miss Minetti, these people don't see us, Miss Minetti.
Well, right now we see some evidence of it. There's a move to review the legislation and the fines and for offenses that we think are critical in either promoting violence or maintaining order, so that they are setting the right tone and the right message. Perhaps that is one of the things that will be reviewed. The fine which is imposed when you come to the conclusion that a person was negligent in
loss of their
the loss of their firearm.
But what kind of deterrent you are sent to other people?
But you know,
all the youth there, the youth that killed the 4 girl, look at Pitney, and the mother. What kind of deterrent you are sent to other people who were interested in killing?
But you know, African, the person, if we recall, he was sentenced and so on, but it don't look like he was in his right mind. You know that, right?
If not in their right mind, I just tell the people who kill them.
Okay.
People were not in a right mind yesterday on the road at search garbage pan, Reverend.
Boy, African, that's not true.
That's not true in our African.
We have to change our understanding of how mental health issues are expressed, how they manifest. In fact, there are some people carrying out important tasks for the country who are not in their right minds.
Yes.
And we have to acknowledge it to be so.
We can't say that.
Okay.
So what am I do there? If they're not in their right mind, what am I doing there?
Because some persons are functional in many ways, and whilst they are operating under the pressure of drug addiction, different type of addictions, different types of stresses, they have trained themselves to separate certain parts of them activity, and then when you put them under pressure in the area of weakness, they are completely unreliable. Anyway, I take the point you're making that if we're going to make a statement in how we punish certain offenses, we need to, across the board, be consistent. And yes, a 45,000, yeah, that's the point you're making. And I get it. I get it. And you're right. You're right.
Miss Minetti just looking at me and saying, man.
Yeah, man.
No, we have gun problem. We're going to foreign gun tell foreign say, no make no gun come here.
Right.
But at the same time, a man left him gun in his car, was supposed to be upon him waist. Upon him waist, a car gun in when they're on the road, you know. And you left it in your vehicle, and you say somebody broke the glass and take it out. It named negligence. Do what, Miss Minetti?
I don't agree with that conclusion by the court, by the way, because here are some things that we have to bear in mind, and I've seen it close up. We give people the permit to carry firearms. They are to have it on their person. We don't make arrangements in certain areas for people to enter and have the firearm secure without keeping it on their person. Like if you go to court, they don't have no place for you to leave it. You either have to go try find a police station nearby, or you have to leave it in your car. When you take it to the police station nearby, you are vulnerable from the point at the police station to wherever it is you're going. So across the board, we need to make arrangements for the proper treatment of these firearms since we are giving persons permits to carry them. If you have those arrangements in place and a man ignore them, don't use them, and I do him one thing, you can say negligence. Negligence is when a person is uncaring of the consequence of their inattention to certain things. They don't even apply their mind to it. They overlook it completely. But a man who says, I stop in an emergency situation, I leave my firearm in something in my vehicle, it not on the seat, it not exposed. I have a bag in my vehicle. I leave my firearm. Somebody breaks into my car and steal it. For you to say that that is negligence is harsh. But a person who is properly found guilty of negligent behavior in the treatment of a firearm, $45,000 says nothing. A lot of people walk around with $45,000 or more on their person. If you don't need to call your bank and maybe borrow some money or do something, it's not going to mean anything to you. So if a negligent person would not feel punished in the pocket by that fine.
We don't know about. We get up and we say we have fight crime and we put in how much money. We take out all of the money and put it in a crime. All of the money I put in a crime, you know. I see the thing I go on. You see we are going on this minute. You see me notice somebody not talk about this drug thing where the man I got fired with, you know. Nobody not talk about it, you know. I got listen to the station, nobody talk about it, you know. And if I did weed down in the ghetto, you know.
Yeah.
I tell you, you know.
Yeah, but we see.
Zones out around my ghetto already, you know.
And we see where people are convicted of fairly large amounts of what you call it, of drugs, and the fine that they get is also that was criticized too.
Yeah. So, but
what is the deterrent? What is the deterrent? What is it, the deterrent, Ms. Minetti?
Well, one of the things, and you've heard me say it too, you're making the point, but it is, once made, it is well received. But you have to remember that penalty that come at the end of this, the point when you're caught, does not act, and that's been found to be so by social scientists who look at it. It is not your strongest point of deterring criminal activity. Because the first thing is most people think they'll never be caught. Most people set it so that if they're caught, some other corrupt arrangement that they have in place will work to their advantage. So people don't look at the penalty before they consider which crime should I commit. Let me go for the one that I can get out of it easily. Because they never think they're going to be caught.
So that is two different kind of people in a one country.
It is all
people.
People all the time.
People all the time. That's why sometimes when they're caught with some foolishness, others of us say, what were they thinking? They don't think they'll be caught. They don't think they'll ever have to explain it. Some of them do things and it is well covered up for years before you even hear about it. They don't think they'll be caught. That's why we don't use...
When them caught, Miss Minetti, when them caught, should they send a deterrent to other people who want to do it?
For some things, but justice and righteousness require that we make the punishment commensurate with the crime. No matter how much... No, listen.
Miss Minetti,
yes.
That's the reason why Jamaica don't deal with infrastructure development. Because they might depend on other things to sell and make money.
You saw that connection?
No, I'm not
because
I missed a beat there.
What he's saying is that the things that really need to be focused on, we're not doing it because we are believing that we'll get the monies that is needed from other sources like drugs and those things. That's what they say in Africa.
But drug money don't build road. Drug money would only build road if the man who make the money decide that he's gonna build the road in his community, and he's not gonna do that because that would be the surest sign that he have money that he can't explain. So no,
Minute,
that's not why we
Miss
don't have
Minute.
infrastructure development.
The money what them take from the man of a country where them couldn't count off in the last year there.
Yes.
What them do with that money there?
Well, the first thing is that it is in US currency. And one of the things you will learn about another man's currency is that you're not free to treat with it as you see a mind. You can't burn it. So to what Pastor said, it should be in an evidence room in Jamaica.
Miss Minute, you know what say? Hey, we not sleeping on Miss Minute.
No, that's why I said to you, African, it should be in an evidence room. And let's be practical.
We do. Who got it?
Well, it's not like when name Phipps money that was Jamaican dollars and you could have just take it out and do what you want to do with it. And this is where Jamaicans can have a little.
US spend all about in Jamaica, man.
But US dollars taken in that quantity from a location in Jamaica, even if the policemen on the spot can take off some of it and hide it, and many of us suspect that the final count was not the actual haul. Let me tell you that the US government are in charge of that money.
No, Miss Minute. In a Jamaica?
Yes.
African, trust me on this one.
Miss Minute. When we find drugs in our Caribbean, are US will fancy?
No, we're not talking about drugs. I'm talking about the currency, the legal currency of another country. That the American government has a policy of intervening in any situation where their currency is involved in the commission of any crime.
You hear him say intervene in one of them finer?
We're talking about currency or we're talking about drugs?
Yeah, the currency.
No, they don't need to say it. They don't need to say it, You just have to have an understanding
That's how it
of
works.
how international law and those principles work.
All right.
Miss Minute, me don't like to see them take a camera and money there right now and show it.
All right, African. We have another call online. You have raised some important points this morning.
But the very fact that he's raising these points mean that Jamaicans need a better understanding of how these things work. So we don't even burden the already the big deficit of mistrust that exists.
Yeah.
We don't add more to it needlessly.
All right, African. Thanks.
It's good to be here.
Yes, my
All
friend.
right, then.
Have a good weekend.
Good morning, caller. Welcome. You stressed?
Happy New Year. A solution that I'll start on.
All right, solution. You have to talk loud upon we. We're not hearing you. Barely hearing you.
You know, hear me now?
We're hearing you better now. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, but that point that African raised.
Yeah, enjoy the argument still, because
it raised an important point and it led to some understanding. So go ahead. What's on your mind today?
And as I said before, Happy New Year to the phone.
Thank you
man.
very
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
man.
The same to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying the Zozo thing.
Yes.
Then we put the Zozo thing in the ghetto, but they tell us actually the American.
Yeah.
I don't have to see from Cherry
Yeah.
If they want to put some Zozo of Cherry Garden and Beverly Hills, you'd have surprised people you're finding.
Wow.
You know that though.
Yes, but there's a reason why you don't see it in those neighborhoods.
Untouchable.
And perhaps.
You have a thing here untouchable.
Yeah.
All right, then.
One of our listeners just posted here to me that lawyers prevent justice and punishment in Jamaica. Lawyers are killing Jamaica, he says. And I know what he's talking about. A lot of people get off with things because they can afford to put the right quality lawyer on it, and so things happen.
The next thing I want to ask about Jerry.
Yes.
Huh?
What about Jerry?
What about Jerry?
I don't hear. What did that in program?
No, the program has been off the air a couple of weeks now.
Couple of weeks now.
Back.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned his name, I know we should say Happy New Year to Jerry. And I know he listens to the program occasionally and he sees that people miss him and so on. So that should be some comfort to him that the time he spent on air speaking and touching lives was not meaningless. It was not lost and people remember. and appreciate him for it. In the same breath, I should also just send some well wishes to our brother Miguel Lorne, who we learned yesterday he's been hospitalized, had some medical event going on, and we certainly wish him well. You know, you ask about Jerry, we know that the voices are for a time. That's the nature of things, whether because man is frail and returns to dust, or
Our
because things
seasons.
change and seasons change. Yeah. Right, that's right, yes. And so, boy, would you just have to appreciate people while you have them with you and wish them well when they move on to another adventure.
The next quick thing.
Yes.
When Haile Selassie come here in 1963
Yes.
and introduced, in the, I'm a fact, spend the money for build schools. This is one school hour.
Was it what?
It was one school.
No, a school was named after him.
Yeah, I know of one school.
But we don't know if he had given any money. It was just a state visit.
I think he needed some money to build more than one school. And
so, yeah.
What? The president party, I believe, I heard that on the building, they have to see alone.
Okay, I didn't hear some of what you said, but I can't deny or confirm the accuracy. What's your concern though, that a gift given was not properly spent, or you see some political manipulation of something?
Yeah, it wasn't properly spent, and the money not spent. It was not one school alone. It was more school that I believe I won this by Jerry the last time, you know.
Yes.
And Jerry said the money was spent to build more than one school.
But
and the president said that government at that time, I don't know if it was Bustamante or what.
No, but it was Bustamante at the time of his visit. Mr. Manley had been very supportive of the relationship and some of the principles that were important to the Rasta community. But then Mr. Manley did not lead the government. It was Mr. Bustamante, and the picture changed somewhat. Let me see what Percy has found here.
So I was saying, as I said before, the money was spent to build more than one school, and I think they must pocket some and build.
Okay, well, I don't know about the pocketing of some of it, but what we see here is that
bequeathed.
One school was built. Maybe foreign exchange loss watered it down. Yes. You too, my brother. Thank you for the support in the season gone by and in this new season too. Thank you for tuning in.
You know, this question of schools and money and missing money. You remember the missing schools with the World Bank thing that happened?
I just want to read here what's been said about the PNP MP who is connected to Michael Phillips has acknowledged that his brother was arrested in connection with a drug seizure at the Norman Manley Airport on Monday. And what does he say? In a statement, Phillips said he is in no way connected to the incident. I am not the subject of any investigation and have no reason to be involved with it, Phillips says. We are both sons of the late Mrs. Mignon Phillips and have never resided together as brothers. I am aware of social postings which have resulted in me being called by friends concerning the matter, and hence I have decided to make a public statement setting out all the information I have concerning it. The issue is unrelated to me, and therefore I am and remain unconnected to it, he said. That is not a surprise statement, of course. It would be an unusual thing if he said, my brother is innocent and I stand by him and assist him in his defense. That is what would have been unusual. We have another caller. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, my brother.
All three of you, guys and girls.
Such a compliment.
Pastor, this one is for you first, because I don't want to ask Miss Minute. I wanted to pronounce this name for me. You see that ex-pope that died? What's his name? Can you pronounce his name?
Benedict.
Benny what?
Benedict.
If you call that him, Patra, how would it sound?
It's not Benedicto. Isn't he Benedicto?
No, Nito is not on it. It's Ben. Ben. Pastor almost call it right, but anyway.
You're like a schoolboy. Thank you for the schoolboy humor.
I heard I don't remember if it's WhatsApp or the news. When he was about to die, close to death.
Yes.
Someone from the Vatican said, the angel are waiting to take him home.
Yes.
Do you think that guy is going home?
You know, only God alone.
He is going home. Where home is dependent on how he lived.
Yeah, but I say to people, and people say, "How can you say that?" I says, when you get up there, you do everything within your power to get there. Because when you get up there, you're gonna see people. I say, "You there too?" Or if you get down there,
see who? See me?
Yes.
No, Pastor, I don't want to go to that place. There's too much white people up there, and they're going to leave me again. No, not that point.
I'll tell you,
Oh, you're so funny when you're ready.
This Mandito guy, Jerry used to just, once he called Jerry, just cut him off. This guy, something need to be done to this guy. I don't know what Marcus Garvey did him or done to his parents or his great uncle or whatever. You know,
he has no relation or connection to Marcus Garvey. He has said that because I've asked him questions when he was preparing the pitch. So we know that he don't know Marcus Garvey, he don't know his family, and have no connection to Marcus Garvey. But he said this morning,
people don't know and just hate you for no reason.
But
maybe how you look or what. That's total. That's what you call bad mind.
But he said this morning that he has been the victim of abuse at the hands of Garveyites, even though he was then saying those Garveyites were moving under a false flag.
Yeah, but maybe because he was criticizing Garvey, that's why if he was in the Middle East and criticized Allah, he would be dead a long time. They would have killed him a long time. So he's lucky he's in a free country like this.
Well, it's because Marcus Garvey is not Allah. If he were coming and saying those things about Christ, maybe some zealous person would take him on. But we are not
like that.
Yeah, we're not.
There was a guy down here in Santa Cruz. I won't call his name. He always he was cursing Marcus Garvey and said he was a thief and this and that. And let me tell you something. I know this guy he was, he's a little bit older than me, but he's a crook. He's a crook. He's a robber. I can't say how he's calling Marcus Garvey thief.
Yeah.
But Cruz, we're gone past the 9:30 break. You're going to hold on?
2 minutes. Oh, we get so much latitude.
You're going to hold on?
Well,
I will take the break.
Well, I got 2 pints. I won't hold.
All right. Then. Okay.
All right.
It's good. It's better, but nothing beats.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Try and call him, cause trust me.
What a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866. We are something special on the road.
Yes, what's coming to the best 100 of them. In a mix with Nessa and DJ Richie. In the mix comes on every Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join us as we entertain you, inform you, and educate you on everything that will keep you in a mix on Best 100 of them. Come on, have vibes. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Lady Lee, the Queen of the South, and I'm inviting you all to trailblaze with me on the best of the best radio station, the Best 100 FM, Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. You can't afford to miss it on your airwaves. Yes, Trailblaze with Lady Lee right here, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on the best of the best, Best 100 FM. Mwah.
And love more. Don't you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Best 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibilion, each and every Friday. Giving you the better vibes, heard everywhere.
Half a tree. 1 already, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning, caller. Welcome. You are one of 2 callers, so speak your truth, my brother or sister.
Yes, hello. I wondered why Jerry Ford did not say goodbye when he was leaving the scene. I think he should have said a few words because so many people are asking after him.
Yes.
He should have said a few words. But I'm asking a question here, Pastor. Are there such people as lunatics on the earth?
First thing, how do you define a lunatic?
You tell me. You've been here as long as I have.
I think based on people acting out of what is normally expected, they are defined as being lunatics.
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay.
So with that in mind, yeah, because if there's a normal way of how people behave, and you are really out of that, it's not like it, and it is on a consistent basis, then you would say people are lunatics.
Right. Yes.
But you know, you know what is interesting with that, Malvern, even as you raised that. Remember, there's a prophet that went naked and was doing things based on what his instructions were. And if you were to Jeremiah, you would have said he was a lunatic, but his words
at that moment,
yes, at the moment,
that's what you would think in your mind.
Yes, right. So that's why I'm saying that's why we have to define what we mean. Because some of the times we have found that people who behaved out of the ordinary normal things, what they were doing was breaking the norms and setting a new trend in terms of how things are. But anyway.
So the answer would be yes, we think they are lunatics, but we may be wrong.
Yes.
Right, yes. It can be wrong.
Yeah.
Who I think is the lunatic. Maybe I'm the lunatic.
You know.
Maybe I'm looking at a lunatic and the lunatic is looking at a
back at me and
lunatic.
say, you are the person, you know.
Such is the nature of it. What made you ask that question, my brother?
Well, because I think a question was asked of you. It's about the word lunatic wasn't used, but it was asked if there were people who were just mad or
out of their mind. Out of their mind. Yes.
Yeah, but
yes.
was reluctant.
Yes,
to,
it's because the caller. It's because the caller was saying that if someone was out of their mind, they would be on the street eating from the garbage. And I said, no. We have to redefine how we think about mental health issues, because there are some persons who are functioning competently in the place where we expect them to be, but if we catch them under the right degree of pressure, they're completely out of their mind.
Yeah. No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke, in Malvern, because some things, even as you study it, you see somebody acting normally, but there is something that pushes them over the edge and they're out of their mind.
You know, a professor who is now passed, a Jamaican professor, he say a lot of Jamaicans are.
You mean Fred Hicklin? Yeah, professor. Yes, I remember. It was headline in the Glean at the time when he did this study in terms of that most Jamaicans suffer from some degree of psychosis, according to him.
Well, I know for sure that we suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. All of us.
Do you think it's the? I don't mean to cut you. Do you think it's the poverty that is the main source of it?
No,
it's just a trauma that we have suffered that comes down through what happened through slavery, what continues to happen. And I think, too, the lockdown never helped it a lot. It made it even worse for a lot of people.
And not to mention the ongoing policies that makes no sense.
Right. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
The rulers.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But bear in mind that the rulers are themselves victim of mental trauma. So and that's why it always requires a certain degree of understanding, even when you're dealing with those who are opposing you or who are oppressing you, because they themselves are the victims of something.
Yes, because last of all, back to agriculture again. If we as a people will never ever solve our agriculture problem, grow our own food, sustain ourselves, grow our own sustenance, then I wonder what the future people will say if we're lunatics.
Yeah, you see that now? They were mad not to have done that, you know? So that's part of it.
But you still have, especially young Jamaican men who feel that to be put to work to work in farming is like you're putting them back in slavery, because you make them bend them back in hot sun and work out them.
While thousands of young Jamaican men run to Canada and America to farm.
And make a good living too, some of them.
And make a good living. So it's really what's going on here from our rulers who are causing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when we reflect on it.
So, and then can you imagine now, in your own country, you're shamed to do certain work, but you go to some other place and you embrace it. How confused must you be in the mind?
But that's true.
How confused must you be? I remember we had a good friend. She died last year, shortly after Mother's Day, suddenly and tragically, and I never got to have a full conversation on it with her. But she was a fairly senior tax officer in Jamaica. When she retired, she went to the US and she was doing like
Domestic work.
nurse
It's
aid
nursery
work
aid, yeah.
for old Jewish women.
Mm.
And I remember her saying to me, she left a well appointed, nice house in a good area in Jamaica, lock it up, go over. She's living there now doing this thing. She only visit Jamaica occasionally. Highly educated, a woman who worked in a senior position. And she said to me, this old lady looked at her and was asking her if she know how to use what appliance was it again, Lowell? Like a blender or some common appliance. The lady was asking her if she know how to use it, because all she see is a black woman from Jamaica who has come to do very, very menial servile work. And I said, what does that do
To you.
to you
And your psyche.
in that? So what, we live a double life? Mind bending. So we have mental issues, mental health issues. May I ask you, Malvern, in terms of your walk, have you always like consistently done the thing that you desired and never had to lead that double life where you're doing something as a convenience or whatever, but it's not what? Have you been true in your choices to yourself?
No, when I was young, I was ashamed of many things
Okay.
that I did. I mean, I was a fornicator and an adulterer.
Okay.
And at the time, you knew that this was not what you should be doing.
I knew it was because I had yes, I knew it was wrong. I knew it was nonsense.
Yeah.
But who cares?
But you know, like when you find yourself now saying to younger people, or when you find yourself counseling and instructing, are you honest and open about how you handled things at their age and why you would want to say to them, do it differently now? Or you just take the hard line of saying that behavior is wrong, don't do it?
Oh no. I let them know that I too was just like you, and I suffered consequences.
They were authentic in your telling them. I understand. Yeah, that's what we need to be.
Yeah.
I cannot be a hypocrite. Why hide and lie to who?
Yeah.
What about the good Lord above who knows all?
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's where the mental health issue comes in, when you are living like you're living a lie. Even when you are instructing people on truth and the right, you cannot be open and say, I've been there, and the reason I can say to you, not good for your son, is because I had to pay the consequences and they were high. It cost me. And sometimes I say to people, I wish I had someone who had the words and the approach and the relationship to say to me, don't do this or don't do that, or even not knowing even where I am, but to share. So I could, as I am making my decision, say, you know, I did here, 'cause I'm a great one to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yes. I think what you're saying also, is that a lot of our psychosis is because we're lying to ourselves. When we lie to ourselves, it causes lunacy.
Yes, that's yeah.
We won't admit, hey, I'm wrong. Or, hey, I don't know.
It's schizophrenic. They have two minds. That's what happens to us. And I think a lot of us, even though we've not been diagnosed that we are very schizophrenic in terms of our behavior. There is a double-mindedness. We're not true.
Yeah.
And that is the challenge we face.
Yeah.
Yeah, a double-minded man is unstable.
Unstable in all his ways.
So yes, there it is.
All right.
All right, my brother.
All right,
Thank you
my
so
brother.
much.
Blessings.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
Well, you tell us. You have called us.
All right, I'm going to say brief. I'm going to come to an ending.
Yes.
Here, two callers asked about Jerry this morning, but I'm going to share a little story with you what happened with Jerry. You know, so the first time when somebody make me hear, like them have them phone and play and it a play, and them a play the station. And I sit and I say, who that a talk for? And you know, so when I listen 2 morning, I say to myself, say, you know, so me have to get the man a number because he not go to the station long. So you want the people more call and ask. You expect surgery to go to the station, and him to get, and you know, say, to tell the truth, me get him number, me and him become friends. And when him come out of the station, I never call him and ask him what happened. Because I know exactly what married him. I not have to call him and ask him.
Yeah. But can I tell you, let me share something with you now. Someone has just posted something on the chat. Knowledge is Power says, I'm not trying to be rude, but this station need Jerry Small 100. There is no energy on here since he gone. 100. You guys only talking and praying. That's what the oppressor want to hear.
Yeah.
That is.
I believe that still.
Well, I know it's not true, but it's just to show you that there is an audience for every kind of approach.
True.
And
you can learn from good and you can learn from bad, because what negative teacher what you're not supposed to do, and the positive teacher what you're supposed to do. So you can learn from everything. You learn from everything.
Of course. And like when I see a comment like what Knowledge is Power has written, I know I'm doing something right.
Of course.
Because you only get this kind of condemnation about praying and talking when you're doing something right. So I take it as an endorsement that we're having impact. But I thank you for making that point. I did not know about Jerry's style of journalism before I came to Best FM, so I didn't know him much. In my interaction with him, I understand that he was doing his work in a particular way. When you're doing your work in a particular way, you yourself understand the risks. And
true.
Yeah,
that's why I wonder listening if they never understand the risk. Because I said the first week when I start listening, me know the risk was. So me must call him and ask him, because this was something I look out for.
What them say, I say, what the hell did I say? Well, it lasted for a good stretch.
Yeah, and this is something where, like, at the first time, it happens all the time. Anytime somebody come out and enlighten people to certain understanding, they move them. Yeah,
so you have that definitely at work in the world, where whomever is offended or whose agenda is affected by what you say and how you say, they put pressure on the system one way or another. Things change.
Quick again, because we as a people too, we're in a serious problem, and the serious problem we're in is that you realize that all of the original seeds, like the original corn, we usually have tomatoes. We don't have the tomatoes again. So you realize the food itself, I go to a lab to create seed. So when you find that, you realize that we're in a serious problem, because if you don't have no food, you know that is famine.
That's true.
So we're in a serious problem. And the government do nothing about it. You realize that the government now not nothing to say, like if we grow, it might make no preparation for we get seeds and tell the people that they use.
Rather have a eat what you grow what you eat initiative that they push. What we need to get is the ordinary citizen to understand that it's not the government's job. It is our job to support these initiatives, rebuild our seed bank, and see to how we are going to feed ourselves, because the government don't feed anybody.
And the other thing...
What I said still, with the people, most of the people is adult children, Adult children, you have to lead them, because you don't come like people don't know better,
Well,
so most of the people
that is why we take that's why we take a certain approach on this show, where we spend the time to talk through the issues and give the pointers and help develop the mind. So as you say, the adult children can take responsibility to make decisions.
But you don't have a lot of that this minute. Just maybe you and a couple other person. And the reason why you are there doing this is because you're intelligent and you know how to do it. Because if you just go make one little slight mistake, you know we're in a problem. So judge what happen out there. I just you, and because you know what to do, where you get able to do it too. So
We have to
spread
We
it.
have to treat it like a
More
virus.
people have to
Anyway,
join
we
the
gotta
train
go, my brother,
and the
because,
movement. All right, my brother.
yes,
Thanks.
the next show is lining up to take our spot.
All right.
All right.
Listen.
Yeah. Thanks to those on air and online who have participated in the morning show. We're very polite. We make sure we say our thank yous. We're rushing it a bit this morning because
Yeah, but
we're still saying it in studio and Mr. Producer.
Mr. Producer.
Yes, and my co-host here. Thank you both very
And,
much.
and I would just say as we go, because this is our Friday.
Yes.
We want the nation to ponder what the Integrity Commission has put on the table and begin to put pressure on the powers that be.
Yes.
It's a move in the right direction, and when it is done, it will cause so much repercussions and change and accountability. We never know. We're letting go the bird.
Yeah.
Let go the bird.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Blessings. Walk good.